Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Finks.
We're back, man. Episode 214.
Yes, sir.
Let's get right into it. I think one of the dopest stories of the week for me has been this $500 wedding. A couple got married for $500. I know that's hard for a lot of people to believe, but it's been a viral story. Bride buys $47 dress for $500 wedding. We weren't trying to impress anybody, end quote. That's what she said. A frugal bride purchased her wedding dress from Shine for $47. Talk about balling on a budget. A penny-pinching bride determined to keep her wedding costs under $500 went viral online after revealing the key to her success, including purchasing a $47 dress and telling guests to pay for their own meals. When Joey Broken Bro from Los Angeles proposed to Kiara in December last year, they vowed that their big day would be a little cost. After trying on multiple $1,500 dresses at a traditional shop, Kiara just ordered a dress from Shine, a low-cost fashion brand. She revealed her wedding day hack in a now viral TikTok video that amassed over 109,000 likes. You have a wedding with witnesses there to witness you, vowing to your spouse, vowing to God that you guys are going to stay together for life. She said on Good Morning America, and then you celebrate with food, drinks, and dance. And that's exactly what we did. Yo, hold on. Let's take a minute to shout out this queen, man. Shout out to her. Shout out to her for real. Shout out to her for really getting married for love and not using money as a metric for what that wedding should mean, you know? I think it was dope.
Yeah.
I think it was dope that we seen somebody, especially we live in a time where, you know, the divorce rate is over 50%. And you know how many people, because they had a stat that I seen that the average wedding is $29,000, right?
I still don't believe that.
You don't got to believe it, man. It's the stat. I've seen it. It was on the news.
But
and I looked it up.
Stats can be skewed.
Yeah, even if it's skewed, if it's a little less, then it's still it's near $30,000 still. Doesn't change it. It's not me saying it. It's just what it said. But anyways, we spend so much money, and a lot of it is mainly to impress the people at the actual event, right? And what's crazy is I'm sure that there's a lot of women that said like, oh, hell no. Like, you know, this is my special day. My family's going to be there. We cannot spend no $500. That is embarrassing. And what I love about this is she was genuinely happy to be married.
Yeah.
You know, these are not, you could tell they not broke either. They look like two decent people, two good looking people. She's a decent looking woman. He's a good looking guy. Like, they're good people. They seem like a good married couple. You know, they also mentioned that people flew in. They flew in to come to the event, and they knew that they had to pay for their food and drinks, but they had a good time.
Yeah.
And that's the dopest thing. Even the people that came to the event were not judgmental of the event. Most people would be at that wedding like, look at this cheap ass bullshit. Look at this cheap ass.
They probably still said that.
Look at this shit. These niggas spent $500. You know the joke's on though? The joke is on the people that are laughing at them, but they ain't even got a solid marriage, or they may never even get married.
Yeah. So
you could have a stretch limousine, that's cool. You could spend $250,000 on your wedding. That's fine. Do what you want. But if your wedding only lasts 3 years, then what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah. I think that either way, it's cool for me. Like spending $500 or spending $500,000, because for me, I think that it's about what's inside the person, and also like living within your means. If you're a millionaire and you spending $500 on a wedding,
that's kind of fucked up.
It's just like it's doing too much. There was this show on TLC, and they were basically like the most frugal people in the world, where they were like sharing baths.
Oh no!
They would run the bath water, and then 3 or 4 people would take a bath in there.
Oh no!
They
running a train on that tub.
That's disgusting. They were reusing like printer paper for toilet. I just all kind of like disgusting stuff.
They was wiping their ass with that paper?
It was something. It might have been newspaper or something.
Oh, they gonna get hemorrhoids.
Yeah, but they were overdoing the whole frugal lifestyle thing. It's just too much. But yeah, I just think like, you know, if your heart is in the right place, that's what it really boils down to. And I think a lot of times when it comes to weddings, like we have this superficial idea of what a wedding should look like. And some people, you know, we grow up watching reality TV shows, you know, sometimes celebrities.
Bridezillas.
Yeah, we sometimes, you know, certain celebrities have, like Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, they have their wedding on YouTube, and, you know, people sometimes get married on reality shows, stuff like that. And you're kind of like, your mind is so fixated on your wedding looking like that because that's what you grew up watching. But I think you could kind of lose out on the real blessing of a wedding or what a wedding should look like. You know, at the end of the day, the wedding should look like, you know, two people that are, you know, creating this bond together and being surrounded by friends and family. Like she said in the thing, a wedding is just the ceremony, you know, the I do's, you guys kiss, you walk off, music playing, you got the DJ and the first dances and the father and daughter dance, like these special moments.
Right.
Throwing the bouquet and stuff like that, like these specific moments, but there's no monetary thing attached to what those things should look like.
Right.
It's just like specific moments that should happen during a wedding.
Yeah.
So I think like when anybody is like starting to put their wedding together, it should be from like, just start based on the love of the partnership that you guys are creating it. And it shouldn't be like an ego thing. It shouldn't be like you trying to impress people, because if you spending $30,000 on a wedding and you make $30,000 a year,
that's nuts.
Like it doesn't make sense. So I think, you know, I don't know what their careers look like or anything, but I think that's dope, especially if they had another plan. It's like, well, let's just get married because like this is not going to change anything for us. Like we could have went to the courthouse, but we wanted to invite our friends and family. But let's start a business. Let's go buy some property. Let's invest in, you know, some stocks. Let's, you know, have a crazy honeymoon where we go out the country because we never been before. I think that's like when you really like think about the economics of it, like they putting their money in the right space.
But first and foremost, they live in Los Angeles. So, I mean, rent for them is probably almost $4,000 fucking dollars already.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know, you know, what from an economic standpoint, what they were trying to do, but I will say this. Imagine if you and your girl saved up X amount of money before the wedding, but you only spent $500, but for the honeymoon, you got $7,000.
Yeah. So
now we saved this money up, and I don't think they have kids either, so they could run it up and go out of the country.
Yeah.
They could spend that money on the honeymoon. Why are we spending all of our money on this event when we should enjoy each other after the event? You know what I mean? So I thought that was decent too. I just think we got to start ridding our mind of the shit that we have in it. Because what I love about this is they put the love at the forefront, right? Love was at the forefront of the marriage. Like, the thing about it is there's going to be a lot of women that disagree with this shit. They're like, I'm not having no what the fuck? We're not telling you to have a $500 wedding. All I'm saying is that most of the world consists of regular people. Regular people, not people that make six figures a year, not people that make $9-8 million a year. The average person is a regular working motherfucker. And I don't got it like that. I do okay for myself, but I make I make more money than a lot of people. And I ain't even got it like that. And some of those same people is out here trying to have a wedding for $50,000.
Yeah.
Man, that ain't happening. Yeah. Worst come to worst, at the end of the day, me personally, I wouldn't have a wedding for $500. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would have to spend like a low ball wedding for me. A low ball wedding for me would probably be around 10K.
Okay.
Like
I'm glad you said that because it kind of puts it into perspective. Like,
right.
It's not even about 500. It's just about the love.
You go, the love. But like my thing is, I would make that 10K real. Yeah. Like I wouldn't have a cheap ass looking wedding. It would still be, I would have the best paper plates. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It wouldn't just be the cheap ones, the paper. It would be the ones with designs and shit on them.
You can make it like my friend Pat. He shoots music videos, and he does a lot of stuff on his own, and he has a lot of good relationships. So sometimes a music video that may cost 60, 70,000, he could probably pull off for like 20, 25, just because he does a lot of the post-production himself and stuff like that. But I think there's a way like of doing that as far as like weddings go too. Yeah. And like the thing for me, it's not really, I don't know what the amount of money that I would want to spend on a wedding, but this is me recognizing that I am kind of in like prison to like the idea of like a amazing looking wedding, is that when my parents got married, like my mom did it, she just did it at the church, like our church we grew up in. Okay. But she designed and sold everybody's outfit. Wow. Like it was like very Afrocentric, with like we had like African garb and African designs and stuff like that.
I think I seen a picture of you.
Yeah,
you
and
Desmond. Mm-hmm. And Gubba. Yeah, I seen that.
No, not Gubba. Gubba wasn't alive.
Oh, he wasn't there yet? Mm-mm.
Oh. But yeah, so that's me kind of acknowledging that, but also like, understanding that I want something like that dope, and that just like, to me, it was like an amazing event. And I'm so like proud of my mom for that. So for me, I want something not necessarily on that scale, but something that well thought out and that well.
You want
like,
a Wakanda
designed.
wedding?
A Wakanda wedding.
Everybody are like,
yeah.
Yeah, man. You know what they say about weddings? Like, it's not about the size; it's about the motion in the ocean.
We're just gonna let Eddie sit in that uncomfortable.
That's what they say about weddings, man. Right? It's weddings, right?
Yeah.
Nah, exactly. But yeah, I thought it was really dope. But there's some people, I've heard women say this. Like I've heard women say this shit. Mm-hmm. If they drive like a 2022 Lexus or something, and they be like, I can't talk to no dude with no car but less than mine. Like they really don't want to talk to a guy with a lesser car than theirs. Yeah. Like the metric they use for love it's backwards. They're using perception and finances as a way to disqualify somebody.
Yeah.
And that's ass backwards. I'm not saying that finances are not important. I'm just saying that like these things that people use as like forms of financial security are false. A car is a liability. Why would you use a car as a metric?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
And like, a car is misleading as well, because all you have to do is be able to afford $500, $600.
All you need is good credit.
Yeah.
All you need is good credit. So it's like
pay the insurance.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Like it's hilarious. There are people that drive way nicer cars than me and Keith, and they don't make more money than us.
Not at all.
So it's like, what's the point of having all that shit? And you know what I mean? And we just have to change the way we think about not just weddings, but just life in general.
Yeah.
Like you'll see people that'll post a car and then they'll post like some little like what do you call it? Like a little caption about like success or something. And you're like, dude, if you don't shut up, like you want to flex. Where's your land?
Where's your assets?
Yeah, where's your assets? Mm-hmm. Where's your land? Mm-hmm. You're posting a car talking about success, and then people on the internet are so stupid that they'll be like, "That's right, get your money," and it's like, bro,
yeah.
Just because you posted a picture of a Benz or a Maserati, that doesn't mean you really are successful.
Yeah, I think that I was telling you this on the phone. I was like, man, I only recently like did it really dawn on me what certain artists and certain celebrities are doing to like reshape the narrative of wealth and what it looks like and what we should really put value in. And like guys like, I remember we made the joke a long time ago, like who looks more homeless, J. Cole or Childish Gambino? But there's something very empowering to what they're doing. These are guys that are like the most successful in their fields and genres, and they dress really regular. Like J. Cole, he probably like throws on some Balenciaga and stuff like that. But he'll go on stage at a concert wearing Crocs. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he went to see Barack Obama with like a sweatsuit on or something like that. Yeah. So it's just like shifting the narrative as far as like, but what it does also, it shows like little kids that, especially if they grow up in the hood and ain't really got it like that, they don't have to like, they're not idolizing like 50 Cent with the G-Unit chain and spin. They're idolizing the person that's wearing sweats every day. So it's like, I could do that.
A real person. Yeah. You look like a real person.
Yeah.
Not to mention like, what the fuck am I wearing Balenciagas for? Like, it's crazy how we wear all these brands, you know, the Gucci, Balenciaga, you know, Dior and all these other brands that like, for what? Like, it's just a stat. Like, it'll be a T-shirt from Dior that's $250. Like, all they really did was literally screen print a fucking Dior label on the front, and you spent $250 for it just to look like you are this like status symbol.
Yeah.
And that's and not to veer off from the marriages, but a lot of marriages or a lot of weddings, are status symbols. People will literally go into debt over a fucking wedding. Do you know how many people in America are still paying for a ring that they can't afford? They're still paying off the wedding. The photographer's still getting paid in payments. The motherfucking the photographer's still getting paid in payments and shit. The staff, the event that they use, they still paying them in payments. They still paying off the breast implants they got their wife for the wedding.
Yeah,
like this is real shit. You think it's funny, but it's real.
Yeah, the wedding. I know some. Well, hit me up if you want me to shoot your wedding. But I know some people that they charge like a good $8,000 to do photos for a wedding. Video too, yeah.
Yeah. But they'll take payments. They'll say, look, up front, for me to do the job, I'm gonna need $2,800 up front. Or I'm gonna need $3,000 up front to know that
down payment
to know that you're serious.
Lock it in.
And you can pay me in increments of, you know, I'll take, you know, a month. It'll probably be like $800 or who knows what. But the thing about it is in order to do that, like you gotta have money. I personally, I say it like this. If I had a cheaper wedding, and the only reason why I would have a cheaper wedding is because, like, financially, I'm a regular person. I'm not going to spend $50,000 on a wedding, bro. But I'm not even thinking about marriage because I'm fucking far from it, right? Yeah. But if I was to have a wedding that didn't cost that much and my wife was completely cool with it and she's like, I don't care, I love you, right? When I get my money right, we're going to do it all over again. When I get my money right, I'm going to propose to her again. I'm going to get her a big ring. I'm going to have everybody fly back out, or I'll fly them out.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a blast.
Yeah.
And the reason why I would give a woman a wedding like that is because she never asked for it. Like, she just loved me for me. Like, she didn't care about the initial wedding. You know, she just loved me enough to marry me. And that was a privilege for me. So when I get my money right, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be able to afford everything. I'm going to get her that rock for like $500,000 on her finger. You know, I'm going to get her, you know, that beautiful wedding dress that she could frame up when she's done. I'll pay for all the bridesmaids' dresses. I'll pay for all the groom's dresses. I pay for all
the groom's dresses,
groomsmen, whatever the fuck are they? What are they called?
They wearing suits or tuxedos, like
it's the groomsmen, right? Yeah, I'll pay for all their shit. I'll pay for their shit. I'll just pay for the whole shit. It might, even if I got it like that and I pay $275 or $500,000 for everything, I'm not gonna trip because I already got the woman that I want. I won. I already won.
Yeah.
I'm just doing this for somebody that I appreciate, and I want her to really remember this.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to make it there first, ladies. You know, and the divorce rate in California is even higher than anywhere else, I believe. I was listening to a podcast, they were talking about it.
It's rough out here.
Yeah, man. It's hard out here for a pimp.
I think if you are a woman out there and you have this idea of what what a wedding should look like or what your ring should look like and how much it should cost, I would just suggest really doing a deep dive on yourself.
Yeah.
And really, really looking at where the origin story of that desire comes from. Because when you really, look back, it may be a movie you watch. It may be a Disney movie. It may be, like I was saying before, like a reality show. It may be Kim Kardashian. It may be like a celebrity or something. But what happens when you're imprisoned by those ideas, you're ridding yourself of true happiness, because sometimes it's not really achievable. And sometimes it's, we shouldn't, this is a different discussion. You really shouldn't try to live a realistic lifestyle. I think that's how you end up like being very mediocre. But the reality is most people are not wealthy. Most people don't make $100,000 a year. Most people don't have $600 for an emergency, all these different statistics that are out there. So I think a better way of viewing how your wedding should look, how your ring should look, is by looking at it from genuine love, and understanding that whatever your husband can afford or whatever, sometimes the dad oftentimes like helps and chips in on the weddings and stuff like that. But, just kind of making do with what you have. And I think you could kind of rid yourself of happiness when you're going into your marriage already with this negative energy based off of like the economics of it. So,
yeah. Like you were mentioning, women are influenced by a lot of things, even the men that they date. So, for example, you think that you want this ring that's $500,000 because you seen on a movie that ring, and if they don't get you that ring, they don't love you. And then your aunt's like, yeah, well, he should be having this, or he should pay for this. And all these different women groups around you are influencing everything you're doing within that wedding, right? And it's actually destroying. If you take a moment to look at the women that are influencing you, ask yourself how many of them are in truly fruitful, loving relationships. I'm not saying who are married. Fuck a marriage. I'm talking about a loving marriage. You know how many people are unhappily married for the last 25 years? Mm-hmm. I'm talking about women who are truly loving and in good relationships. If you are taking tips from your aunt that's telling you like, if the wedding is not at least $100,000, then he does not deserve to marry you, honey. Mm-hmm. There are people that really say this dumb shit. Mm-hmm. And it's like, come on, man. Mm-hmm. And you might be influenced by, like you mentioned, maybe it's a movie. Maybe it's your peer group. Maybe it's the girl that, your homegirl, that's your friend, that she's not married, but she's giving you all the advice of the men you should be dating, and she can't keep a steady man herself.
Yeah.
And you about to get married, mind you. You about to get married, and the one that's influencing your decisions in a wedding is way away and far from a fucking marriage.
She's still going through her whole phase. You taking advice from her.
She's still going through a whole phase. She's about to fuck one of the groomsmen at the wedding. Right? She's telling you about what you should be doing, and she gonna get smashed out by one of your husband's friends.
Yeah.
Trust me. I've been to some weddings, and people are fucking. Oh yeah. You think it's just a bunch of people up there for the bride and the groom? Nah, people up there hooking up.
Yeah.
As soon as they pronounce, I now pronounce you husband and wife. The groomsman is like, call me. Call me. Steven Jackson talked about when his wife or his fiance, when she didn't sign that prenup before the marriage, and he just was crying because he knew she was trying to get him for his money at that point. Mm-hmm. So he called the wedding off, but he paid a bunch of money. I think he said he paid like $275,000 or something like that, right? And he was like, you know what? I'm not getting married, but I'm not going to ruin this event for all the people, so I want everybody to have fun. And
that's wild.
Yeah, Steven Jackson said he was crying, like he was uncontrollably crying. And I think it was Matt Barnes' mom, I think, was there and gave him a hug or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he said what he ended up doing is he got rid of his fiance, but he fucked her best friend that day.
I don't. To me, that's not even funny. To me, that's like, that just shows like you can't sex your way out of that sadness.
No. But I mean, I don't think it's cool, but I don't blame him either. But I think it speaks to the pedigree of women that she surrounded herself around.
Yeah. It's just bad all around, dog.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody wins in that situation.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, he might have been crying, but he busted a fat nut that night. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
More power to you, Steven Jackson.
Yeah.
All right, switching gears. The Mexican pizza is back. Oh, it'll be back May 19th, to be more specific. I'm bringing this up because it's become the talk of the town recently. It's been all over the place. Now, me personally, I could give no fucks about the Mexican pizza. I personally think it's underwhelming, okay? It's got that red sauce that just not that great, you know? And it's like, it's anti-Mexican. It is the opposite of Mexican.
It's racist too, I think.
Yeah, it is a racist. It's
definitely racist.
It's definitely racist. It's definitely a racist item.
Yeah.
You know, if you eat this thing, you probably believe in building a wall.
There you go.
Yeah, very racist pizza.
Yeah.
But this shit is just not that great to me. I'm sure some other people love it. But yeah, I guess as of recently, Doja Cat was one of the people that was advocating for the Mexican pizza to come back. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she gave herself a little more credit than she probably should. You know, she was like the Martin Luther King of Mexican pizzas, you know, advocating to bring this thing back. Yeah. But here's a little thing. Here's directly from the Taco Bell's page. From performances to petitions, Taco Bell taps into fans' pent-up excitement to celebrate the return of the beloved item. Irvine, California, April 18, 2022. While rumors of the Mexican pizza's return have been swirling for months, it hasn't been publicly confirmed until now. From petitions to the memorials to merch, the Taco Bell cult has rightfully been all but silent about its menu hiatus. Doja Cat, the voice of the Taco Bell people, was one of the first to confirm the news this past weekend when she literally dropped the mic with the hot news of the Mexican pizza's return in May. But Doja wasn't the only fan who played a role in bringing back the Mexican pizza. Equally vocal with their pleas for menu items return were 200K and signers of a change.org petition, spearheaded by a superfan, Chris Jaderdar, whatever his name is, Jagedardar. Poor guy.
Leading up to last names.
Huh?
So we need better last names.
Right. Leading up to the May 19th return, fans expect more ways to get involved with this historical return. Here's my thing. First of all, while you're at it, Taco Bell, bring back the double-decker taco, okay?
Yeah,
that's
and wings.
That's a real American item, the double-decker taco.
Yeah.
Right?
And we never even tried them wings.
We never got a chance to try the wings.
It was in the thing for like 2 days or something.
Yeah, we tried to get wings, and it's like, sorry, we're out. Yeah. When again, sorry, we're out. You motherfuckers need to stop eating all the goddamn wings. Okay? Me and Keith never got a chance to review them for the podcast.
Yeah, that was going to be great content.
Yeah. That's so fucked up. And I think, what were they called? They're just called wings. I know McDonald's, believe it or not, I forgot how many years ago, probably like 2013 or 14, they had McDonald's Mighty Wings.
Yeah, Mighty Wings.
Those motherfuckers were good.
I remember those vividly.
You said
2013?
Like 2013 or 14.
Dang.
Them were some big ass wings though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it tasted like they tasted like a McChicken, but it was actual chicken.
Yeah, it had a bone in there.
Yeah, the actual bone in it. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, McDonald's.
Yeah.
All right. They said it was a limited time only. So,
yeah.
It was a limited item. There's certain items that come limited that don't come back, and you're like, no, like why?
They should at least do them like seasonal when they a hit. Because when those, I remember when those came out, it was a hot commodity.
There's an item that started back in like 1999 or 98. Remember when did Toy Story come out? The first one, like in the late 90s, right? Early 2000s, like 99 or 98.
I think so.
Like 98.
Yeah.
And they had a burger at Burger King called the Rodeo Burger, but it was based off of Toy Story, and it was the item for Woody.
Really? That's the origin of it?
Yeah, the origin is Toy Story, right?
Yeah.
So I was getting them little rodeo burgers, and it was just basically a Burger King burger with cheese, and it had an onion ring with barbecue sauce. It's so fucking good.
I still get those. Them mugs smack.
But it's not on the items list. It's a hidden item.
You know what? I bought one. Where did I go to? When I think I was dropping. I was coming back from LA for some reason.
Uh-huh.
And is there even a Burger King in Bakersfield?
Yes, there is. There's a few.
Where is it at?
There's one over off of 34th Street. I think it's 34th.
Oh, yep.
There's one off 34th. There's another one that's on the east side of town on Niles, way down. There's another one that's off of White Lane.
Okay. Yeah, but so this one is like off the Lions exit or Lions Avenue exit, coming back from LA.
Okay.
But I was looking for it on the menu because sometimes when you order you want to check the price, like make sure you ain't spending $50. But I just asked him because I didn't see it on there. I was like, dang. I was like, can I get a rodeo burger? I think I might have asked him, like, do you guys still have the rodeo burgers? And I was like, yeah, how many do you want? And then I just like told him or whatever. But rodeo burgers is fire, bro.
What did he sound like, the guy?
I don't remember.
He was like, oh, okay, sir. What would you like? Would you like a burger?
No.
Every fast food person sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think they get like programmed. I think they're still on fucking Windows 97 or something.
Nah, I think I might have asked him. I was like, hey, can I get do you guys still have the rodeo burgers? He was like, Buzz.
Oh, Toy Story looking ass. Oh man,
that's crazy. I never knew that. I learned something today.
Yeah, that was like the origin story because I remember when I was like in the 8th grade. I think that's when Toy Story had came out. It was either 97 or 98. And the rodeo burger started with that cartoon as the theme. And that was one of the meals that it came. It was like a rodeo burger meal. But it's like, it's so deeply embedded within the menu. It's not even on the menu.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Back in the day, dog, I don't know why they got rid of it. Burger King had the coldest chicken tenders, bro.
Really?
You don't remember that shit? Oh my God. Like not Jack in the Box, but Burger King had the best by far chicken tenders. And then they replace it with these bullshit ass chicken fries. Yeah, they're just not good, bro.
Yeah.
They're just not that good,
I don't know.
bro.
I'll be wondering, like, I remember my uncle would always tell me, like, he would see these whack or these terrible marketing schemes. He'd be like, yo, this is really what's going on out here. Like, and it might have been after, like, the Domino's did the potholes. Like,
that shit was
they put
trash.
their logo by the pothole and then they filled it up or whatever. And you just think like, bro, if these people, these like marketing, chief marketing officers or whatever, their job title is, they're probably getting paid like
they're probably getting paid $500,000
a year
to do this.
Crazy. Yeah.
Give me the job, motherfucker. I'll take a pay cut,
bro. I have Burger King popping.
Give me $300K and I'll take that job and I'll do more with it than this nerdy motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like the same person that came up with those bullshit meals from Burger King called them the real deal meals.
Yeah.
And they called it they used Nelly's real government name.
Yeah.
Why would you use Nelly's real government name?
Niggas don't know his real name.
Cornell Haynes?
Yeah.
You sound like a 75-year-old black man. Why would you fucking come out with that?
Cornell Haynes sound like an actor from the 80s.
Yeah.
Blaxploitation movies.
Yeah, you sound like a blaxploitation. You sound like one of those old 1970s pimp movies. What can I get you, you jive turkey? Jive turkey motherfucker. Wow.
That's the theme song.
Yeah. I'd like to get one of them Cornell Haynes burgers. Yo, if you ever watch one of those old black movies in the 70s, dude, you will fucking cry laughing.
Yeah.
It's the worst acting ever.
The dialogue is terrible.
It's like, we got to keep the man out of our pockets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, fool.
Yeah.
What's up, home skillet? like, when do people talk like this?
Right on the black hand side.
Right on, soul brother. Right, all that weird stuff.
Yo, some people are going to get pissed off by this statement I'm going to make, but one of the worst movies I've seen one of the worst movies that I've ever seen, but I didn't realize it until I got older, was New Jack City. And here's why. Here's why. New Jack City was good in its time, but I've watched it and the lines are so corny and it's so fictitious. It's like so fictitious that I'm like, oh fuck no. There's a line that Mario Van Peebles says in that movie, and it's so terrible. And now you know Mario Van Peebles is, right? Mm-hmm. Mario Van Peebles in the movie, he said this line, and I was like, oh hell. He's like, I need a New Jack cop for a New Jack gangster. I'm like, nigga, this is the worst shit.
You know what? Me just speaking from like a filmmaker's point of view, there's like eras of like screenwriting, right? So I think that they used to like Hollywood it up, right? They wanted a screenplay to sound like a screenplay. I think where we're moving forward now, like in 2022, 2021, is a space where like dialogue sounds a lot more like regular human beings having a conversation. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, and honestly, what happens too is like sometimes like there was a lot of white screenwriters, right? And they have a way of like making things sound very like stale sometimes. So I don't know who wrote New Jack City, but I would imagine that it was some random white guy that, you know, told that story. But yeah, that happens. Like, that's why those, like, it's a joke whenever they talk about those like mafia movies, like put your hands where I can see them. Like, you know, all those like ones? Corny,
yeah. We're back in business, boys.
Yeah, all those lines, yeah.
I'm gonna be back here in 15 minutes. Shoot this thing up, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be Those old karate movies are the same thing too. They're pretty fucked up too.
Yeah, you talking about the ones that was like the Chinese ones where the mouth was moving?
Yeah, not just those, but the ones you heard in the skits of like Wu-Tang. Mm-hmm. Like on a Wu-Tang album, they would like run in these skits.
Oh yeah,
and they're like, "I'm gonna chop off your arm. Are you ready?"
Yeah,
like this was they took all of those sounds from real movies, like real karate movies. Mm-hmm. Like, I've mastered the master technique of Young Kudo.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, yo, these are fucking terrible movies.
Your powers can't surpass mine. I've been training every day for 32 hours. Like, what?
Yo, Dragon Ball Z got that whack element to it, though.
I love Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z would be like, you fool, I've been training my whole life for this moment.
Yeah.
Wait until I power up, and you're going to see the true power of Jeet Kune Do.
This isn't even my final form.
And the whole time they're just staring at each other. It's like, y'all gonna fight? On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Boy, I used to be so hot. Yeah, I was like, when I first started watching Dragon Ball Z, I probably was in like the 4th grade. And I was just so invested in it. And it'd be those filler episodes where niggas are just standing around for 30 minutes straight. Yeah, powering up, and then the outro come on. Like, it'd be so sudden too on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I wasn't brought up on Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball Z, when did that really pop off? Like 90s, early 90s?
I got into it like, I would say like 2001, 2002.
Yeah, that was your era. You were little.
But it's the
American version, because it was
but it had been out probably 2-3 years before.
Is it Japan?
In Japan, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was into Transformers.
Transformers, fire.
Yeah, back in the 80s, Transformers and fucking Transformers and Thundercats.
Thundercat is dope.
Thundercats was the shit.
Oh man, I want them to make. That's like when you get like, I have this plan or this goal, right, where you like build up this career, and then you get the reins, right, to where like producers are like, hey, what do you want to do next? Like Ryan Coogler, he did Fruitvale Station, and then after that they were like, yo, so like what do you want to do next? And then he brought back the Rocky franchise. You know what I mean? So that would be so dope. Like if I do a movie and then they're like, yo, like what do you want to do next? And you have like it's endless source material. Like a live action Thundercats movie would be fire. Like just so many other like shows we grew up on.
Thinking about this too, you know, the prequel to Transformers was actually Voltron.
Yeah, Voltron. They brought it back as a TV show on Cartoon Network.
Oh shit, I didn't see it.
It wasn't. It didn't have the same like pizzazz to it. Yeah, but it was.
There were certain when I was a little kid. There were shows that I used to watch that my dad watched as a kid.
Yeah,
like one of them was I think Space Ghost was one of them. Remember Space Ghost?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And then there was another movie, not a movie, but another cartoon. It was damn it, I'm trying to remember what it was called. Johnny Quest.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Johnny fucking Quest.
It was like Space Ghost and then Johnny Quest would come
but
on.
I'm talking about the original Johnny Quest. And they had like a dinosaur that shot things out his fucking horn. And then it was like some Indian kid. I guess he just was Indian. And then I don't know what the Indian kid's power was. I think he was like a mental.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember much about the show, but I do remember the show. But it's funny. Like that's the power in like ownership and like just creating something timeless is that show. Like Johnny Quest. I don't even know when it originally came out, but that's multiple eras of just re-airing. You know what I mean? And what happens with those shows too. Like, say it's owned by Hasbro or something like that, or what is it called? Hasbro, and they own the material. Maybe it airs on like CBS, you know, in the 70s. Then in the 90s, it might air on Fox. Then in the 2000s, it might transfer over to Cartoon Network, and they just selling the brand of it. So that's like the beauty in it. This is like what you can do with a podcast. Like, you know, we got so many episodes. Like if we go solely with Spotify or we go exclusively with Apple, like we got 200 episodes that we could just transfer over to any platform and get a bag. You know,
I'm looking at the Johnny Quest, like the first episode. The first episode was in 1964.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude, my dad was a little fucking kid.
Dang.
Yeah, he's like, I used to watch Johnny Quest. And then Space Ghost was another one. That shit was probably in the 60s too, probably. Space Ghost.
Man.
You remember Birdman?
Yep.
Birdman was that was the one. Birdman. This shit is all old.
Yeah.
Let me see. Trying to think. But fuck all this. You know what, dude? What's another item from another company that you wish came back?
Like food or what you mean?
Like food.
Food? I don't even know. That's hard to say. I was missing that orange high C when McDonald's decided
they brought it back.
Yeah, remove that from the menu. They
put some extra diabetes in that motherfucker though.
Yeah,
you drink it now, you like, ooh, this shit pure. That's some pure shit right here. That shit'll put you into a fucking coma, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the high C was a good original one. Mm-hmm. Oh, yo, back when I was in high school, like, you know, from my freshman year, I think they came out like my sophomore year, so it was like 2001. And from 2001 to like 2003, McDonald's had these salad cups, and they called them shaker cups.
I remember those.
And you put the lid on it and you shake it up. You shake it up,
and then the ranch in there or whatever.
Yeah, and then you'd be eating out the cup. They didn't need to bring that back.
Yeah,
them salads was cracking, bro.
I would say one of the things, and this is me as a kid, I don't even know if I would like it now, but the Pepsi Blues. I used to buy a Pepsi Blue. I would buy it, and then I would
call that the Pepsi Chemical.
I would buy it, and then I would freeze it overnight, and then I would take it to school, and it'd be like a slushy. I'd be smacking it.
You know you're not supposed to freeze anything in a bottle either, right?
Yeah, but
because it bleeds, the plastics bleed into the actual drink. Mm-hmm. So you was drinking Pepsi plastic.
That mug was fire though.
Oh man,
plastic in there.
Yeah, there's certain drinks that shouldn't come back. Pepsi Blue's one of them, and Surge.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Surge was so fucking nasty, man.
Mm-hmm.
Surge was nasty. Remember Slice?
Is that an orange?
The soda? It had different flavors. It had orange slice, lemon slice. It wasn't very good. I don't remember that.
You
know what I haven't seen? I think it's still around, but I don't ever see it anymore. Is Sierra Mist.
Yeah. I don't. I rarely see it like in stores, but Taco Bell has like Sierra Mist is a Pepsi product.
I'm not sure, man.
Yeah, I think it's a Pepsi product. So, like I'm sure you've been to a restaurant where you'd be like, "Hey, can I get a Sprite?" And they're like, "Well, we have Sierra Mist. Is that okay?"
Yeah.
Because some store, certain depending on the brands, because the Sprite is a Coca-Cola thing. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of drinks. Fruitopia was one. That shit was good. They got rid of it.
Don't know what Fruitopia no more.
Nah, Fruitopia's gone. They only have it like in a different country. They got it.
Dang.
Yeah, they got it like I think in like Canada or something like that. They ain't got that shit nowhere else.
Imagine having like Tampico from a like a soda machine.
Oh no,
that would be disgusting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a straight syrup coming out.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fructose corn syrup.
The worst is when you can see when the machine is broke down a little bit, so you can see the water and the syrup mixing together.
Yeah, like
he's just like, dog, I'm gonna die.
And then you'd be like, "Hey man, I think your machine is broken." No, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
The machine is nothing wrong with the machine.
What they do is they go over there because broken to you and broken to them is two different things.
I can still make money off this.
They go over there. They go over there and press it and then drink it. This drink is perfectly fine. It's good. Here, try it.
It's only a little bit of dirt, not a lot of dirt inside.
I remember I went to A1 and you just do stupid kid stuff.
Yeah.
And I just like pushed the thing or something randomly. I might have like put my cup under there and just try to drink a little bit of soda. Yeah. And they was pissed off.
What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Put it back.
Get out of here right now.
Get out of my store.
Don't come back.
I remember this one Indian guy cussed me out because I was like, "Yo, why is this candy bar, the price of this candy bar so high?" He's like, "If you don't like it, get out." Right? And I was like, I just asked, and then he just said, "Get out." And I was like, "Man, fuck you." He's like, "Fuck you, my friend. Fuck you."
You can't tell that to your friend.
It's like, yo, what the fuck?
And I'm not your friend.
Now I'm confused. He's telling me to fuck myself and calling me my friend at the same time.
You know who probably has the most friends on Facebook?
Who?
Is an Indian man.
Why is that?
Because every time they see somebody, it's their friend.
Oh, this guy. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
I think it's something like a transitional, like American thing,
like like translating something.
Yeah, like when people come here and they learn the language or something, they probably teach them to say.
Yeah, I be seeing because it's always like a term of endearment. Yeah. Even like if you go in now, they don't say my friend a lot. They'll say like bro.
Yeah, now they switch. They've upgraded it now.
Yeah, that'll be $2.95, bro.
That'd be $2.95, my black brother. Oh man,
that's crazy. My mom told me a wild thing, and this is like just personal, like that we would know. So the people that own A1, and then in my grandma's neighborhood, there's the Chevron right there on the corner.
What? Where?
You know when you go into my grandma's house?
Yes.
So we get off on that street and that's a Chevron with the
McDonald's next to it.
And then across the street it's like a liquor store and a Rite Aid and stuff.
Yes.
The people that own A1 own that store too.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
That's so That's crazy.
I was like super random.
Yeah. Imagine how much shit that they own.
Getting money. Killing niggas and getting money.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
More power to him.
Could you own a liquor store?
Me? Mm-hmm. If I didn't work in that motherfucker, I could. I'm not about to sign up for that death sentence. You could have a perfect day. Every day's going right. Hey, sir, you have a good one. Next motherfucker come in there and blow your head off. You like, God damn.
Trying to rob you and stuff.
Yeah, you trying to rob me. I'm just trying to make a living, man.
I just think that they make probably the majority of their money on liquor. And I don't know if I could stomach that, just selling liquor to people in the ghetto.
I mean, honestly, if we keeping it real, like how much different is liquor than fast food? That shit is all killing you.
That's fact. And niggas own liquor companies. So
yeah. Like
I just, I don't know. I have a different moral code, I guess.
It's not even a moral code. It's just that like you may morally feel like you don't want people to sell alcohol. I get it, but like if motherfuckers selling these corporations selling McDoubles and shit, and we know McDoubles is killing people.
Yeah.
Like we know that.
Yeah.
I hardly even order McDoubles no more because they be making me feel weird now.
Yeah, that's real.
I don't know what they using some new chemical in their burgers over there at McDonald's.
Yeah.
That shit fucking me. I just stick to the McChickens and Filet-O-Fish now.
Yeah. I haven't had a Filet-O-Fish in a minute.
Oh, the Filet-O-Fish, man. I went there on a Friday and ran it up.
Brother, fresh though?
Oh, fresh.
Fresh Filet-O-Fish is elite, bruh.
It was so fresh that I could taste the Filet-O-Fish and a little bit of the box. Like the box, the box had marinated into.
It was so hot, it kind of seeped into.
Yeah, it kind of marinated the box.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah, I could like taste the.
Sometimes
I could taste the graphics on the box.
Sometimes it'd be so hot, and the bun be like, when you get it fresh, the bun be low key still wet.
Yeah,
because they dip it through the little toaster thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That mug's fire.
Like as soon as I opened the box up, it was like, now make it pop, make it drop. This is wet ass pussy. I'm like, damn. As soon as I opened the box, fuck.
You got Cardi B rapping out of there.
I was like, and then when you close it, it'd be like, make it pop. You close it, open it back up. You know what I do when I get, and I think everyone does this. I think most people do this, but they don't realize it. When you open up that box from a Big Mac or a Filet-O-Fish.
I know what you're gonna say.
What am I gonna say?
You put the fries on that.
Yeah. I put the fries in the box.
You got to.
You got to, man. Yes. When you open that Filet-O-Fish or Burger King box, you pour the fucking fries in it.
Yeah.
And then you could put condiments in there too if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
They might, you know what they need to do? McDonald's, man, they might as well create like some type of integrated fucking box with fries in that.
Already in there, huh?
Yeah, so
that
if you
would be fire.
So as soon as you open up, the fries just chilling in there.
Yeah, it's a little cubby hole with the fries. Like,
yeah,
that'd be dope.
Yeah, I've been doing that for I don't know how long, bro.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's nuts. That's hilarious that you caught that though. I'm pretty sure everybody else is thinking that like I would put my fries in there.
Nah, I remember when we stopped at Wendy's or something in your car, and then I low key invented a new little fry.
Oh my god! This nigga created a was it a French fry holder? It's like a crease in my door in my car, and stuck the fries in there. And we're on a highway, I think.
Yeah,
I'm going like almost 80 miles an hour, and the fries don't fall down.
They don't budge.
I was like, this
if
nigga.
Anybody got like a little side panel where like the drinks might go, or like, a little compartment for your keys or whatever, you could stick your fries in there.
Keith's IQ is very high. He just stuck it in there. And I'm driving, not paying no attention. I look, and the fries is just in there.
That's the first time I've ever did that. It was just regular.
This nigga
felt like I was supposed to go there.
This nigga found a fry compartment on my car.
Yeah.
And he just was like,
I should be the new MacGyver.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
MacGyver is the only motherfucker to have a paperclip and some bubble gum and create a fucking bomb. You like, damn.
That was wild.
Them shows back in the days was a trip. MacGyver, the A-Team. Remember the A-Team?
Mm-hmm.
A-Team had that van.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Some of those shows, they be doing some reboots to some of these shows, and I feel like they were just timepieces.
Yeah.
Like they don't need to reboot everything.
They don't age well. Like another one is like Miami Vice. You don't want to. They try to bring that shit back too for a minute.
With Jamie Foxx and they did a movie.
Oh, they did a movie? Because you know it was a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit didn't age right. Because I think the original one was the Latino dude was a cop. He was like a cop. Fuck. Wait, no. I'm thinking of the wrong thing. What's the one with the cop that was on a motorcycle?
I don't know. But Miami Vice was like that. It was like a cop duo type thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Was
it a white dude and a Latino dude?
I think he was black, but I'm not sure. I might be wrong.
Oh, shit. I'm getting it mixed up because it was another show. It was another show. Hold on. Miami Vice. And it's, it's a black dude. It's Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas. Okay, yeah, it's different. That shit was in 84, but it's another show with the motorcycle cop. People are gonna be listening that are older, and they'll be like, "It's this show, it's that show."
Imagine them rebooting Matlock.
Oh fuck no! If you want to reboot Matlock, all you got to do is just get Joe Biden.
Joe Biden to do it? That's hilarious.
Yo, did you see what Joe Biden did, bro?
What'd he do?
This nigga Joe Biden, god damn. Joe Biden had said his speech piece. He walked off the stage, gave an imaginary handshake, got confused, and then walked the other direction.
Joe Biden is a robot, bro.
Joe Biden is turning into an owl, bro. Like, you just see the back of his head and his thinning hair, and then he just walks the other way, bro. It is the most. You know, we gotta put a monitor up here, dude. Mm-hmm. We gotta put a monitor up here so people can see what we're talking about, because that shit was crazy. I'm like, what the fuck did I just see, man?
I be forgetting Joe Biden is a president.
Me too, bro. This is probably one of the most embarrassing administrations, mainly because, like, this guy doesn't know where he's at.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be president, bro. He should be somewhere taking a nap.
People fought so hard to make sure Donald Trump didn't win again, and then that was it.
That was it.
It's just Joe Biden. But it was like, we're not even concerned about who the president is. We just didn't want Donald Trump in there.
Right. Donald was a moron. I think the only reason why he didn't win was due to his ineptitude, right? Yeah. Dealing with COVID. People losing their lives, people losing jobs. Then you got Biden there, and this motherfucker, god damn.
If Trump was like 1% more of a decent person, he would have won.
He would have won easily.
Yeah. He's just a terrible guy.
You lose to Joe Biden, that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. Because now I ain't seen Kamala in about 4 months.
Yeah.
Kamala somewhere she about to have a hot girl summer, and nobody know where she at. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Yo, Kamala low-key got a body, bro.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. I was in shock. Mm-hmm. She was like working out.
Yeah.
And she had some leggings on. I was like, what?
Yeah. She's still, I don't know where sometimes like, she looks good, but sometimes like you can look a little older.
She look a little stressed out.
Yeah. So I seen, like, sometimes like you'll see an actor in person and you be like, dang, they look a little older in person than they do on TV with all the makeup and stuff. But
yeah,
she does look good though.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. She's doing all that dancing and shit to get elected, and they got elected, and this shit has just been downhill.
Been chilling.
It has been embarrassing.
Yeah.
All right, let's move.
Something fresh in there. I want somebody like, whether I'm not voting for a Republican, but whether like a Republican or a Democrat, we just need like somebody that genuinely deserves to be the president. I feel like we haven't had that in a good 12. Like, I would say George Bush wasn't like really fit to be president.
Nah, he was stupid.
Yeah, I just want somebody that's like 4.0 in college, an Ivy League graduate. You know what I mean? Just somebody that deserves to be.
Honestly, I don't care about crossing the party lines. Like, I would vote for a Republican if they actually were decent. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd rather vote for a Republican that is not like the stereotypical Republican doing everything for the party.
Yeah.
Like, if it was a Republican that actually was a decent human being, that actually had good policies, I'd rather vote red than vote for Biden.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if somebody told me, if I had to vote between Mitt Romney, which I'm not a fan of, but Mitt Romney and Biden, bro.
You going for Mitt Romney?
I would probably end up going for Mitt.
Yeah. That's cool. I don't see it for myself as far as like the way my beliefs align. And then also we live in California. It wouldn't make much of a difference as far as like who the president is.
True.
But yeah, I just like what Barack Obama, I was genuinely impressed by him as like, you know, his resume. But I feel like guys like George Bush who, you know, see average students is just like not very well spoken.
Fool me twice, can't fool me again.
Yeah. He do got a mean like shoulder roll though. Probably something that rivals Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He dodged that shoe.
He does. Two shoes.
Yeah.
Motherfucker threw a shoe at him. He was like, whoa. And then afterwards, he cracked a joke. He's like, almost got me. Yeah, Bush was. I look back at some of the shit Bush did, and that shit was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, it was hilarious. All right, let's move on. Switching gears. DJ Envy's wife. She spoke about faking orgasms for 10 years. Man, that's a hard pill to swallow, man. Yeesh. To have sexual relations with your wife for that long, and she's not getting off. All right. DJ Envy admitted his wife faked orgasms for 10 years. It hurt me because I thought I was pleasing my wife. Communication is essential in any relationship, and that's especially true in the bedroom. After all, if you don't have good sexual communication, you could end up faking orgasms for 10 years. Just ask DJ Envy's wife, Gia Casey. The Breakfast Club host and his wife are bearing it all in a new book titled Real Life, Real Love, Life Lessons on Joy, Pain, and the Magic That Holds Us Together, which was released on April 19th. In an interview with the Shade Room about the book's release, the couple discussed a particular chapter titled Faking It in a Relationship. In a portion of the book, the couple reveals the fact that Casey faked orgasms for a full decade of a couple's relationship. Okay, here's what I have to say, and I've never heard anybody say this. Any woman, first of all, I think what happened is it's been documented that he cheated on his wife, right? So when you cheat on your wife or your girl or whoever, your wife or your girl does not look at you as a good leader anymore. You led the wrong way. So they lost a lot of respect for you after you did that, right? And even if they take you back, there's just certain things that you can't go back on. And what I'll say is this: any woman who will fake orgasms for 10 years, is 100% cheating on you. She is 100% cheating. She was cheating during that time. Nobody said this, but I'm going to say it because I live in the real world. Somebody was fucking her the right way during that time. Women know when they have good sex and bad sex. For 10 years, you're that disconnected from somebody to where you are faking orgasms. You don't have how much joy can be in your life, and how much can you love somebody when you do that for 10 years? That's crazy. That's wild. And the thing about it is if a woman's cheating back, she's not going to feel bad about it. But that part is not probably going to be in the book. I know people are like, you can't accuse her of cheating. She never admitted it. That's not right. Trust me. Somebody was fucking her right during that time period. Somebody was getting it here and there, or maybe somebody she had met in between. They might have had a brief breakup, but for 10 years, you fake orgasms? For 10 years. That's his fault for making an assumption, and it's her fault for not communicating that to him. But that's embarrassing. And then the fact that it's in a book and it's documented. Now everybody knows I had weak dick for 10 years. That's crazy, man. Like,
yeah.
I've had episodes where I probably had some weak dick here and there, but I got a pretty consistent batting average. I'm batting at 300. Okay?
Which is not that great.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good in baseball.
It's good in baseball, but not in the real life.
No, really.
It's 30%.
Let's bring the average up. Let's bring it up.
In baseball terms, it's pretty good. You get to the Hall of Fame, but
yeah, I say on a consistent basis, 67 to 74%. The rest of that percentage, sometimes there's some weak dick in there.
Yeah,
sometimes you bust quick. You can't help it.
Yeah, you need the Roman swipes. Whip whip, whip whip. The thing, I don't. That's not my stance. I don't necessarily agree with that idea. One, because I don't have context. I know oftentimes I don't necessarily like making these grandiose statements without knowing the full context, because I haven't read the book. And I know, I'm sure in the book they talk about the age in which this happened, the time frame in which this happened. DJ Envy he said that they were together since they were 15 years old.
Exactly. That's another reason why I assumed of the cheating, but go ahead.
So in terms of like 10 years could be like from 16 to 26 or whatever. So, I don't necessarily, sometimes what happens too is the faking the orgasm is one thing, but not for a woman not to have an orgasm is like pretty regular. I think that she probably just felt like when you've had sex with somebody for so long and just a singular person, you are almost like basing what the response should be for whatever based on like porn or like something you've seen, in a video or whatever the case may be. So she probably put it in her mind that like when I am tired of having sex that I just act like I had an orgasm. But I just know that for like a lot of women, they find it very hard to have an orgasm.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that, the important thing that they actually discuss is the communication aspect of it. Like, if you're in a relationship, if you just kind of like sleeping around with whomever, then it's just like, you're just, you're just swinging for the fences, I guess you could call it. But, I think like it's so nuanced because sometimes like women be in their head, women be like insecure about their bodies.
Yeah, it's all kinds of shit.
It's just all kind of stuff that goes on outside of the actual performance. And who knows, in terms of their relationship, he might not have even done much different outside of like a little bit of foreplay, So
true.
Who knows?
But
but that and to me, I don't necessarily that at least they don't seem embarrassed about it because they put it in their book, but it happens. I think the faking part is the big thing, but not having an orgasm is just pretty regular.
That's true. And you got to think about an orgasm is not as common as for women. It's not as common as it probably should be. Mm-hmm. You're really not going to make a woman have an orgasm every time. Like women are their body is very complex.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I remember like I had a time where, this is, maybe TMI, but I was pretty much given a decent performance. And, and then afterwards, this is the question you never ask. You should never ask this question. So we get through having a session. It's a pretty decent session, by the way. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, I was like, hey, she was like, I don't know why I asked this, but I was like, oh, did you come? She was like, no, I didn't, but it was good.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then in my mind, I was in my head, I'm thinking like, how is sex good if you didn't come?
I think for women, sometimes like, and sometimes it's the guy, sometimes it's them. Like it's just so like I said, it's so nuanced because some of it is psychological, some of it is physical, but some of them have just come to terms with the fact that they're not going to come all the time, and they are just like enjoying the journey.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow,
that sounds like a diary entry.
Yeah.
I may not come every time, but I enjoy the journey of not coming.
I would just hope that like if you are in some type of like long-term relationship that you guys would develop like that open line of communication. Like, hey, I like this, I don't like this. Maybe this is my favorite position. This is
right.
Not,
the communication is important, but one thing is important as a man too is just be quiet when it comes to like sex stuff. Mm. Like in the act of it too. Don't say anything because it's almost like you're trying to coerce a woman into giving you good feedback.
Yeah,
a
lot of women like talking though.
Well, they like if you have that sexual chemistry.
Yeah,
then that's different. Mm-hmm. Like they'll be like some women want you to talk and shit, but like don't take it upon yourself to just do that right off the bat. Especially
I got you.
Like a new woman, you like that, huh? You like when I do that?
Yeah, you like this 4-inch dick, huh?
Yeah, it's going all the way in there, huh? It's going deeper than you thought.
It's going deeper than you thought.
You don't want to coerce a woman into like saying something to boost your ego. Like when you're really giving it to a woman in a decent way, like they're gonna let you know. And especially if you have some experience, you'll be able to tell like if this is like a decent response or if it's kind of like and then you always don't know because some women are really loud And you'd be like, oh my God, she's just fucking faking. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
But they not faking it. Like they really getting off.
And you just be doing your regular moves.
They're like, God, 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 God. I'll be like, God ain't got nothing to do with this dick, okay? God ain't got nothing to do with this dick, girls.
God also doesn't approve of this message. So
no, he
I
don't.
need you to switch it up to something different.
God is like, will you stop bothering me with this shit?
Yeah. I'm going to need you to yell Buddha or something.
Yeah.
Buddha, Buddha, Buddha.
Like, Islam,
Yeah, Eddie getting canceled.
No, I wasn't playing, man. Oh, man.
I ain't going to front, though. I have definitely faked an orgasm myself.
I think a lot of men have.
Yeah.
And it's only because, and I hate to say this, but it's only because it's a little bit of protecting a woman's ego from your end. Like a woman that's giving you really bad fellatio. Like,
you can't fake an orgasm getting head, though.
Not always. You could do it through the sex. Like,
Yeah.
And what it is, though, I think that there's some men that are they're such dogs. They're such dogs, and in any side of any vagina, they just gonna bust off. Mm-hmm. But there's some men, like with us, like we have to be turned on. Like I have to be stimulated in order to bust.
Yeah, it's what I realized too is like there's certain things that like I get turned off by women, right?
Yeah.
One thing is like when it's like a casual thing and then the girl is like expecting like a romantic situation.
Yeah.
That's like, it turns me off.
Because it's like, it literally is, it's not so much the expectations thing, but it's like, I don't need to like, this doesn't have to be something where it's like raunchy sex where I'm slapping you in the face or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But like, you trying to have sex with me like this is a novella or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, you want me to make love to you.
Yeah, that's
I barely even like you.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, I don't know. It makes you feel a little awkward because then you don't want to, like if you have a heart as a man, you don't want to like put a woman in a weird position.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to like hurt her feelings. And you don't want to go along with it. Like you don't want to be
You got to put the foot down.
Yeah, you got to put your foot down because if it's too much compassion in there, that's how women like will view you as a piece of shit. When you kind of allow her to like initiate this romantic thing and then you go along with it and you do that just to get laid. And then she's like, these guys ain't no good. And it's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't love you. No, it's like I don't have to, and you don't have to have sex with me either. Like,
no, that's great. Yeah, that's a great point.
You don't owe me sex. I don't feel entitled to your body. But if we're gonna have sex and that's what we're doing, that's fine. But don't try to coerce me into doing a romantic, emotional, overly kissing, overly like cuddling type stuff. It's just too much.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, and I don't know about other guys in this situation, but I feel like guys always have to be the person that sets the structure of that sort of thing. Because if it was up to a woman, like, it could be the most casual thing and she'll want to go shopping with you, whining and dining and, you know, holding hands through the mall, but y'all just don't got no title.
I hate to say this because it's going to make me sound like a complete asshole, but in some ways you have to protect women from themselves. Yeah. Because what happens is if you have sex with them or you do something, it could be anything. You having sex and y'all doing every sexual thing, the oral, everything, right? What can happen is if you keep going along with it, once you see certain behaviors from a woman, now it became your problem. Yeah. Because once you've seen her needing this affection, you're like, you know what? I can't give you that amount. I can't give you that type of affection. Right? You deserve that affection, but you deserve it from a man that somebody wants to be with you. And by the way, I don't have to be with you. Yeah. Right? I'm not, and I'm not the asshole because, so here's the thing. I would literally like have to never get no pussy in order to be this perfect gentleman. But even good men get laid.
Yeah.
Like even the best men that women think about, they're getting some pussy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just the truth. And the best women out there, the wife material, they're getting fucked. Mm-hmm. Like all the way up until they meet the man of their dreams, it's somebody fucking them. Mm-hmm. I don't know when, but somebody's fucking them. That women could deny it all they want and say, I'm celibate. I ain't had sex for 3 months. The same little dippity doo-dah, the lie. But yeah, that's how we are as human beings. Like,
yeah, I think what you said is like important too. Like, it's not. This is supposed to be like we're coming to an understanding. This is an agreement that we've had together.
Right.
And I didn't ask you to be in a relationship.
This is Rent-A-Center.
This is Rent-A-Dick. If you don't pay the lease, then you got to return it.
This dick is as is, no warranty.
Oh man. But no, I think like when you it's just so it's I understand like sex is a very like sensual thing. Like you guys are sharing your body together. And it's very intimate. And even in order to to get to that, it generally requires some sort of like hanging out, whether it's going to a movie or watching a movie at the house. Like it, generally doesn't result in just like showing up and having sex.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can understand how like things could get very confusing.
Yeah.
I think we was having this conversation maybe over the phone, but when you start to look at like the landscape of like what casual sex generally turns into, it makes me think more about the idea of like paying for an escort.
Ouch.
And not like, that I need it or whatever, but just because like sometimes you just don't feel like entertaining someone. Like you don't feel like it's a process, right? Like
yes,
you gotta
there's
hang
a process.
out.
Yeah.
You got to go to BJ's. You got to watch Netflix, a terrible movie, and then you got to watch like 70% of the movie. Like it's just a whole thing that
you have to convincingly believe or act like you believe that she's not like, I don't normally do this, but like you have to act like you don't see that she really wants to fuck.
Yeah.
Because women really want to have sex, but the truth be told is they feel judged. So they put on this act like, I'm not ready or I don't really want to do this right now. And it's like, that to me, perfect. Like I'm the type of dude, you don't have to explain that to me. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like women are obligated to do anything for me. Mm-hmm. Right. But all the things that lead up to us actually having sex, I've never in my life had to mislead a woman ever. I've never had to I don't disrespect women. So I've never had to lie to them, disrespect them, mislead them in any way, or coerce them into having sex with me. Mm-hmm. So I have a clear conscience the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time. And then when I'm having sex, I'm just like, well, we did this as a collaborative.
Yeah.
Right? And then if they get mad, like I've literally had to have a conversation with a woman in the past that says, you're just like everybody else and you just used me for sex or whatever. And by the end of that conversation, she was apologizing to me.
Yeah.
Because I literally did nothing to make her feel that way. I just think that because I conduct myself in a respectful way, mm-hmm. and I don't lie like a lot of men. I don't try to coerce women into having sex like a lot of dudes do, or put up a front or fake that she probably actually liked me as a human being. Mm-hmm. And being as that was the case, I had to tell her like, hey, I didn't do anything. I didn't even feel like I didn't even have any expectations for what you should have done or not done. So it's like, why are you mad at me? Like, what did I do?
Yeah. It could, I guess in her situation, it could all look the same, right?
Right.
If you see somebody that's like being nice to you, and then there's a guy that's lying. There's a guy that's like, maybe got a girlfriend, maybe got a baby moms, maybe got a whole other life that he's just lying about, or maybe just lying to get into your pants. And then you got somebody that's just a genuinely nice person. Those are like, that's the worst position to be in as a guy that's not looking for or that doesn't want to be in a relationship with this specific person.
Yeah.
Because you kind of like, you're almost better off being mean. You're almost better off being like that other guy that she was comparing you to, but that's just not your character.
Exactly.
So you kind of in this like gray area where it's like, no, I don't want to be your boyfriend, but also like, the sex is cool.
Right. But I'm not gonna masquerade as that guy that acts like he hates you, or the guy that does hate you or lies to you to get laid, just because that's not who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that like decent men battle with. I think some of the most decent dudes probably get laid the least, only because it's a fucking hurdle. That's where the whole conversation of an escort came in.
Yeah.
Because like, at least for an escort, like if you was to pay for an escort, she would just know the assignment.
Yeah.
But with women that you build this relationship with, you don't want to hurt them. You don't want to lie to them. You don't want to do any of these things. But the problem with that is the woman is giving the pussy away to a bunch of liars.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bunch of men lie and cheat just to get some ass. And she's so accustomed to that sometimes when you come around, she's like, wait a minute, let me hold the pussy from him and see if he wants to be my boyfriend.
I think the way I look at it, like the ideal, I guess, friend with benefits or no string, whatever you call it, is like somebody you actually get along with. But both of you guys understand that this is like, we're not going to get married. This is just a thing. This is a kind of an era that we are going through. Right. But I think the thing that I often see, and I like in the past have told myself this in my head, like a girl would be talking and some girls just be chopping it up. Like you be on the phone with them and you guys may be talking for like an hour. You may have got like 15 minutes of conversation in on your side and they spending the next, 45 minutes or whatever, like of them just listening to themselves talk.
Yeah.
So there's been a time where I've been sitting there like listening to that conversation, like, man, I just want to have sex with her. I don't want to hear this conversation. And it sucks that I'm even thinking about that. But
you're human though.
Yeah.
I think you're human, and it's okay to have these thoughts because women have these very primal thoughts themselves. I've heard women from their mouths be like, oh my God, I want to fuck him so bad. I've heard women say this. Yeah. So it's just a natural thing that we do. It does not make you a bad person that you want to have sex with this woman. It's just, it makes you a bad person when you're willing to deceive somebody in order to get that. Yeah. Right? But yeah, I think that's, I think that a lot of women cannot read us very well. They need to do a better job at that. And I think men need to, instead of men lying and being deceptive to get some ass, they should just be honest. Yeah. But here's the thing. There's a difference. You can be honest, but don't be blunt honest. Like you can't tell a woman, I'm just trying to fuck. Yeah. Yeah, don't do that. You can't do that. Because then it'll put a woman in the position where she feels horrible. Especially if there's women that like, just tell me up front. Tell me, like, be a man and tell me what you want. Like, women are not ready to hear that.
And that doesn't work.
That does not work. They do not want to hear that shit at all.
Even I mean, we know it's not true because you look at like old Tinder profiles and it'd be like, not here for hookups. And then, you go on one date with them and you already smashing.
Yeah, like, not here for hookups. Totally here for hookups.
Totally here for
hookups.
Yeah. But then sometimes some guys just got the juice. Like, it could just be the right time and the right place, and you just look just good enough for that time period.
Yeah. I'm completely off those apps. That shit is terrible. People were not ever meant to meet like that. It's just not normal. Yeah, for sure. Like the way we treat dating now is like fast food. And there are more people and more women ever in American history that are having casual sex than any time ever.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they meeting on Bumble and they swiping through people's faces. And women have the same primal instincts that men have. Like, ooh, I would fuck him. Ooh, he's cute. Oh, he's cute. Ooh, I'd fuck him. That they doing the same thing that a man is doing going through the app. A woman is not looking through a dating app saying, wow, he'd be a great father figure.
That's facts.
Wow, he looks stable.
Yeah.
Wow, he looks like they looking at it the same way that men are looking at it. And that's the problem, that men and women are looking at each other like sexual objects rather than human beings. When we used to meet each other face to face, and that was the initial meeting, you had some of these primal thoughts, but they kind of got diluted by the person's personality because they were right in front of you.
Yeah.
But when a person's behind a screen, then what the fuck are you doing? What are you gonna do?
Feeling the energy for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different era. I think that it's good and bad though. I think like, cause I don't know, the dating apps it kind of created this, like, I'm not even sure that that's what they initially intended it to be, like this kind of sex, this like sex app, but it just transformed into that. And I think when you kind of grow and you kind of when you really understand what you want out of life, then you move on from it.
Yeah.
That's not something that you should be on when you're 35 years old. That's not the way.
No.
It'd be like a lot of young girls on there too anyways. Girls like turn 18 and then they hop right on there and turn 19.
I'd stay away from young women. That's the number one women you should stay away from. Because young women, you got to realize, young women are going through a time in their life that you went through over 10 years ago. We're talking probably 15 years ago. They're going through what you went through at that age, which means a young woman on average is having a serious hoe phase. Same thing as men. Is men and women are on the opposite sides of the same experience. So if a woman was to say that's not fucking true, every woman doesn't have a hoe phase. I'm not saying every woman has a hoe phase, but most of them do, because a man that's going through a hoe phase in college, he's having sex with different women who are going through the same thing he's going through.
Yeah.
Like this guy that's fucking these women in college, he's not meeting virgins. You know, they're not virgins. I know, and it's no knock on women. It's just a human experience. I know some women back in college that was into some wild, freaky, crazy shit. Like, especially out there at Cal State at those dorms. Jesus Christ. That place was a fuck fest back in the day.
Yeah.
That was fuck fest 2005.
Yeah. That's
Yikes.
good. Shout out to CSUB, man.
Yeah, man, that's just nuts, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, college is a space where you're away from home. You got a dorm room. You got your own apartment, probably for the first time in your life, and you just living out your dreams.
Yeah, there, there's that girl that's from that small town that's across the country. She comes out to some city where she doesn't really know anybody. She's got her own dorm, but she has a boyfriend that's a long distance, and they only see each other during the holidays. And she's walking around on campus. She's seeing all these attractive guys, all these football players and basketball players, and they've been trying to hit on her and shit. But she's like, I have a boyfriend. And it's going to go from, I have a boyfriend. Sure, you can have my number. And then, and then she's going to get the number and not be hooking up. And it's going to take that one argument with her boyfriend that's across the country. Get it. Once they get in that argument, now it's free reign. Now your girl is texting and hanging out with Jamal.
I for sure be the guy that's like playing it cool. While she got a boyfriend, like not now, but I mean like back in college, like I would, like if I had some sort of like communication with them, it would slow down and I wouldn't be like pressuring them into doing anything. But
Right.
I definitely would be like, hey, yeah, just, anytime you after work or whatever, you could come by and hang out or whatever. And then they'll be like texting their boyfriend while they hanging out at my apartment or something.
Yeah, that's
like
crazy.
That. Yeah.
That'll be nuts. So, babe, what are you doing? No, I'm just hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
And then a man is so dumb, he's just going to automatically assume it's just another woman that she's hanging out with.
Dang, yeah.
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 That's bad.
I'm not another woman.
No. I'm every woman. It's all in me.
Yeah. That should be, I might, I might start like a college podcast. Where it's me and like some of my college buddies from New Mexico State. And we just like for an hour and a half talk about the wildest stuff that happened in college.
Yeah, I think that you won't ever hear it because I don't think that women will do it. But if women talked about their college experiences, it would be a wild fucking podcast.
I think that's kind of the call her daddy vibe.
Yeah, I think you got to realize like there are some stories because I've been to some college parties, not at some major campus, but even parties at BC. Mm-hmm. Like you'd be like, hey man, where's the bathroom? Oh, it's over to the left, and you accidentally open up the bedroom door and there's people in there fucking, and it's two sets of people fucking in the same room. You're like, yo, what the fuck?
No, that's wild.
You gave me the wrong door. The bathroom is to the left, man. Then you open the bathroom door, somebody's fucking in there too.
That's wild.
Like, this is unsanitary. I don't even want to use this bathroom anymore, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Not okay. Yeah. That was a rabbit hole, wasn't it?
Communication. That's the theme of that conversation.
Yeah. Ultimately, if going back to DJ Envy's wife faking the orgasms, if you are in that situation, don't be too afraid to communicate that.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be your wife, man.
Yeah. Especially if you love somebody and you plan on spending the rest of your life with this person. And it goes both ways, right? Because some girls be giving terrible head and guys just be taking it. Like you don't have to take that terrible head. You can tell her to stop using her teeth, okay?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yikes. You just don't want to be mean, man. But then you don't. If you're giving her too many directions, she's gonna feel insecure, and then the head's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
And you just be like, you know what? Just stop upsetting me. Okay? Just stop upsetting me. Imagine how women feel when a guy's going down on them and he using teeth.
That's wild.
They'll probably be so pissed the fuck off.
Yeah. Women
use sex to decompress.
Yeah.
So they'll be very frustrated if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. That's when it's a relationship, you could build something. Like you could kind of like figure out what you guys like, you talk about it, do like the whole different locations and all this kind of stuff. When it's a casual thing, this is like what they call that? Like, this is like an NFL combine. Like you got to be on point. Like your 40 time got to be 4.3.
You got to have the measurables.
You got to have the measurables. When they check your height, it got to be 6 feet or above. They do the hand measurements and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a lot of women let down by us though. Well, I'm not saying us independently, just men.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, let's just do better, fellas.
Let's do better.
Yes, let's learn from this.
All right, swipes. Whip whip.
Switching gears, socioeconomic trauma or base trauma. Me and Keith were having a conversation, and we were just unpacking some things from our childhood. And I think that when you grow up and you grow up poor, it's a different reality than a lot of people in America. And there's certain insecurities that pop up during that time, especially once you get in 4th grade. That's when you start learning like people's different, economic situation. Mm-hmm. You start looking at kids wearing certain shoes. They got all the latest stuff, all the newest stuff. And then if you like go over to their house after school, you see that they got a big old nice house and a bunch of food in their pantry and they got a basketball court in the backyard. They got their own room. They ain't got to share their room with family. Like it's all kind of things you start noticing. And then when you go back to your home and you start noticing all the differences and you just feel so bad. Right. And Keith has an interesting story, and I'll follow up after that, but I'll let him lead this one off.
Yeah, so I think I did this thing called Landmark Forum, and it's this thing where you're just kind of learning about yourself. You're kind of going on this like, it's almost like you're time traveling through your personal history and then understanding that specific events led you to be the person you are today. So I'll tell the story in a way where it's not like speaking on anybody specifically, because like some of these people are still around and I just don't want to be like name dropping.
Right.
But it was like when I was a kid, I bounced around. Like I'm from Visalia, but I moved to Bakersfield when I was probably like in kindergarten. And from there, from kindergarten to third grade, I bounced around a little bit, like living in certain houses, like with my grandma, my aunt, living in certain, like I lived in this apartment with my just my grandma, like me, my dad, my mom, and my little brother. We lived in this apartment. And then from there, my parents finally got their own space out here in Bakersfield. And that's the space that I lived in until forever. Like my mom still lives in that apartment. So like up until like fourth grade, when I started going to this school called McKinley, I had no recollection of like economics. Like, I'm just living life, right? I'm thinking that living with my grandma is normal. I'm thinking that like having to share a room or sleeping on a pallet or whatever, this is just normal. And I don't have
pallet.
Yeah, like if it's 3-4 people in a room, I just put a pallet on the ground or whatever.
Wait, I think you're using the wrong word. You said a pallet.
Yeah, that's what you would call it. Like just a pallet on the ground.
A pallet is a wooden thing, like it's wood.
A pallet can be, that's what it's called, a pallet. Like you never heard that term?
Not for something you sleep on.
Yeah, you can sleep on a pallet.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. But so like you have this idea, or you're so free, right? You're just like this child living life, and you're not. All you really are concerned about is like having fun and you know, what you're gonna eat, right?
Yeah.
And then it's almost like the way some people describe like Adam and Eve, like they didn't know that they were unclothed until they ate the forbidden fruit, right? And that's like fourth grade, when people start to become more aware. Social statuses are more apparent. You know, people are starting to become themselves or become the person they're going to be for the rest of their lives. So that when I got to fourth grade is when I realized like that I was poor, and it just dawned on me like, you know, I'm going to school with like Payless shoes on, and you hearing people getting roasted for certain things.
You
and
got the shoes with the lights on them.
Yeah, I didn't have those, but but you starting to, you know, it may be a situation where somebody getting roasted for being poor, for having dirty clothes, and then you laugh a little bit too loud, and the attention diverts to you, or you know, the attention gets brought over to you, and they roasting you like, nigga, what kind of shoes you got on? Why you laughing so hard? Like what are those before it was really popular. And it just kind of like makes you like, dang, like, man, this sucks. Like, you know, this is just a terrible experience. I just want to have fun with my friends, but I got to be concerned about how cool I look.
Yeah.
And like you start to, you know, when you go into school with somebody, some of these people for so long, y'all playing sports together, you know, you may spend the night over somebody's house, y'all chopping it up on the phone, all these different things. And you start to really hone in on this idea that we are all not created equal. Like, you know, such and such mom is like, or such and such dad is like a correctional officer, or such and such mom is a vice principal at a school, or this person works over here at this job and they got a really good job. And, you know, you start to like assess the situation. You know, you start to like look at the type of clothes that they wearing. Like we all had to wear uniforms, but I'm wearing like these hand-me-down shoes, or like these shoes from the thrift store. And this dude got the new Allen Iversons, or he got the new Jordans that just came out. And you like, dang, man, like I got these 2 for $80s from Foot Locker. You know what I mean? Like, you remember the 2 for 80s?
Hell yeah. That was a 2 for 80 wearing motherfucker.
Fresh 2 for 80s. But
black and white color.
yeah, exactly. But but it starts to like those situations shaped who I am. I'm not going to speak generally,
Right.
Speak for myself, but those situations shaped who I was, to where like I started to really resent my mom in a way that I didn't really understand until I was an adult. There would be times where like we lived in that apartment, and I would hear conversations of my mom speaking about wanting to get a house, or like, trying to, get a bigger space, one in the backyard or front yard or something like that. And as a kid, that's Bible for you, right?
Right.
Like, and I'm like, yo, I want the same thing, because when I talk to my friends and they ask how many rooms we got, I'm lying. I'm telling them it's like 3 or 4, but in reality, we live in this 2-bedroom apartment. I'm counting the living room as a room.
I remember you talking to Chris Flail. You said something about like it was what do you call it? At the time, there was like the master bedroom. They wanted to get rid of the term master bedroom.
Yeah.
Because I guess there was some like racial, implications or
Yeah.
whatever. And you was like, you said, we didn't have no master bedroom in my house. We had 2 slave rooms.
Oh, man.
Oh, I was fucking dying.
That's hilarious. I do remember that. Shout out to Chris Flail, man. That was a really good episode.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, so, we having these conversations about like how many rooms you got, and I'm lying, you know what I mean? Like flat out lying, just so I'm not embarrassed by the fact that it's, probably 3 of us sharing a bedroom or whatever. But yeah, I remember my mom having a conversation about wanting to move into a house, and I remember, and I'm like 11 years old, maybe 10 years old, and I'm probably. Yeah, maybe, 10, 11, maybe, yeah. So it's a house that is, that I might have seen just from driving through the neighborhood, or I don't know, walking to the store. I don't know what it was, but I seen it, and there was a for rent sign and a thing. And I remember my mom having a conversation about wanting to get a house, and I'm like super eager, like, hey, mom, it's this house over here down the street. Like, I can go get the number or whatever. And she might have like brushed it off or whatever, but I took it upon myself to walk over there. I'm 11 years old, like walking 3-4 blocks away just to get this number from this, the little for rent sign that's in the window. And I bring it back to her, and I don't know if I wrote it down or memorized the number or whatever the case, but I told it to her. But then I realized like it wasn't happening. No. Like it was just a conversation, and I'm too young for it to really register that it's not happening. She's just having a conversation about her desires or what she wants out of life. And you kind of like those things start to shape you more and more. And I'm looking at my mom, like, why can't you get it together? Like, why ain't we making money like this person? Or why ain't we making money like this person? Like, why don't we got no front yard? Like, why can't we have no like parties at our house and all these different things?
Right.
And I'm starting to like compare my parents to like some of my other parents. And I remember my dad had this like beat up like hatchback car. It might have been like, it ran, something, it just ran. But I would always hate for him to pick me up, but I always lucked out because he was always late. So I would always be like sitting in the office, like waiting for my dad to pick me up, and then finally he'll pull up in a little beat up car or whatever. And I remember one time specifically, like I would always get away with him picking me up because nobody would be able to see it. But one time specifically, it might have been like after a field trip or something, and one of my friends, like his mom was late picking him up too. And then he seen the car, and I was so embarrassed. Yeah. Like, nigga, you driving that? And it just happened so fast where he had to go to the office or whatever, so he couldn't really go in like he wanted to. Yeah. But that was one of those moments. But all these experiences like shaped me to be a person to where like when I was an adult, I became like imprisoned by this idea of like money.
Yeah.
To where like no matter what level of success, like if I didn't notice this, like no matter what level of success, whatever accomplishment that I had, no matter how much I had in my stock portfolio, whatever, I always had this desire to have more, because I'm always comparing myself to this childhood, like this fourth grade version of myself when I'm seeing my friends do this or do that. And it's something that I think is one of the most powerful discoveries I've had about myself. And I also was like, I look at my mom completely different. Like, although I knew she was a person that like, she did the best she could, but I think I still held some of that childhood resentment like towards her. And it wasn't until I articulated it like out loud and I told her, like, I had a conversation with her and I explained her the story like in more detail with the names and stuff like that. But I told her, she tried to like apologize to me for like not doing more or not being like a better financially, stable person. And I told her, like, I was like, one, I'm just crying my eyes out. And two, I was like, Mom, like, you don't have to apologize to me for nothing. Like, I'm good. I got through college. You know what I mean? I've reached a certain level of success. You taught me work ethic. You taught me a bunch of stuff that you may have not necessarily like taught me like verbally, but just by watching your actions. You taught me a lot. You taught me about like stick-to-itiveness and consistency and all these different things, right? But like I said before, if I kept going down that road of like comparing myself to like that 4-year-old child that is like always looking at somebody else as like, this is what I need or this is what's going to make me happy, like that's the type of stuff that'll ruin you. So like even like before we had that conversation about like, can money buy you happiness and all these different things, like money would have like been a short-term fix for that desire that I had. But right. The real power is in like removing yourself from the bondage that we have towards name brands, like
100%,
like the Jordan symbol and all these things. Once you realize like
it's a status.
Yeah, once you realize that that's just a logo, like you will be empowered.
Yes.
And that's also like a journey we've had, like, with Eddie starting his merch and stuff like that. Once you realize that literally somebody just heat pressed something on a shirt or screen printed something on a shirt. It removes
all the power from it.
It removes all that power. So that's the space and the journey that I'm on now. Like, and so much so, like, getting more comfortable with the way my car looks. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even have the desire to like fix it up anymore. Like because I got into an accident and it was like a dent on the side, but I got the lights fixed on it or whatever. And I'm building this, this thing for myself where I'm pulling up on anybody, whether it's a date, whether it's like, whether we go into the movies, whatever the case may be. And I don't have any sort of like embarrassment about it, because I realize like we are putting too
much emphasis on things.
Yeah. And we create the value for whatever. Mm-hmm. And sometimes like I'm creating embarrassment for myself that's not even there. Like there was a time where, that one of my friends that I was embarrassed to be, around, he had to pick me up for, we had a track meet, right? And he had to pick me up, and I gave him the address to the apartment complex, but I gave it to him in a way where he didn't know that it wasn't a house, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, yo, this is the address or whatever. And then when I get to the address, they might have looked it up on like MapQuest or something like that.
This is way back.
So he gets to the address and he called me. He like, hey, is this the apartment complex, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, all right, cool, we outside. But in my mind, I'm creating this whole like dialogue. Like, oh, this nigga gonna roast me. I live in an apartment. He live in a house. All these different things. But that's an internal dialogue that he probably didn't even
give a shit
care about. Yeah, he probably like, oh, this is just where Keith lived. That like that's perfectly fine. But it's the same thing with the cars. Like sometimes we put it in our head like people gonna care. Like, oh, this person gonna roast me. This person only likes a person that drive this type of car.
Our insecurities that we have are not our own.
Yeah.
The insecurities that we have, whether it's how we look or how we feel about our finances or whatever, it's based off of what we perceive. It's based off of comparing, comparing ourselves to other people. That's all it is. It's just, that's exactly what it is. And a lot of times, like, I'll get into my shit. I'll let you finish, but because you have it fresh on your mind. But I'll get back to it.
But no, that's just the thing. But yeah, so after that, like after a couple weeks ago when I made that discovery, like I've been able to like appreciate my mom a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, and I've always loved her, and we haven't had any sort of bad blood or anything. But like, just appreciate her for what she did do versus like what we weren't able to do. But then I realized like I'm going to be rich. So it's not 100%. Even like, you know, it's not even a thing. Like I'm going to be able to buy my mom a house in the near future. I'm going to be able to like, for her to kind of fulfill her dreams, because I realized like my grandma, she just like, she didn't have a fair shake. She had her first kid when she was 12. Like, and then she had 15 kids. In no way, shape, or form do you have the time or space to like go get a degree or like, you know what I mean? Like she just was like set up for failure. And then my mom, she kind of came into this world. She had her first kid when she was 16. And she just never got her footing. I remember my mom told me, she was like, I almost like, when I went from Bakersfield College and I transferred to Iowa State, and I think I might have been packing my bags the day before I left, and she told me the story. She was like, I was going to go to FITM right out of high school. I saved up the money for the tuition or the down payment on the apartment or whatever. But she was like, I couldn't go because your brother's dad wouldn't watch him while I went to school. So I had to like stay basically in Tulare, and the rest is history, right? So like these are stories that like, this is the narrative moving forward. It's not like, hey, mom, you didn't do this because you didn't have a good job or you didn't have a high paying job. It's like she made that type of sacrifice for my brother. So it's only right for me to like to change the narrative, but also not only change the narrative for like us as like a people as far as our economics and our generational wealth, but also change the narrative on how we look at money. Because even she was saying like sometimes like I'm embarrassed for some of my friends to know where I live, like to this day. And so she's like still having those same reservations as a 52-year-old woman. So for one, it's like, I guess to sum it all up, it's like, one, we have to change the way we look at money. And that's kind of going back to my point about like Childish Gambino and J. Cole. Like, I think they're doing something very powerful that may not even register to people until you kind of really sit down and look at it. One, we have to change the way we look at money. And then two, we have to realize that like there are like people that made huge sacrifices for us to be in a position to where we can even just do our podcast. You know what I mean? And I think the people, it's a select few people that really got it. Like that really got the juice, that really got the power to like change the dynamic or trajectory of their family name. You know what I mean? The guys like Jay-Z, Jay-Z's family would have been just a family, right? Yeah. And then he became like this exceptional rapper and therefore changed the Carter's name for the rest of history. So like we have the potential to do that. So we got to, make good on it for ourselves, but also for the people that made those type of sacrifices for us. Yeah.
100%. You change the direction in which your lineage, but here's the deal. As far as my situation, it's a lot to unpack. I had a similar upbringing. We didn't have a lot, and you start noticing, around the fourth grade when people have certain things and you don't have those things. And I was getting it from both angles because not only was, I insecure about, where we were economically, but I got made fun of, for having big lips and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And, you got people cracking jokes on you, calling you ugly, saying you got big lips. And then you also grow up without having a lot. So when you go over a friend's house either to spend the night or play the video game and they got the new Super Nintendo with like 50 games and you don't even have a game system at the time because you're too poor to have one. Mm-hmm. And then, there's not a lot of food in your house at the time because your parents are in between paychecks and there's hardly no money in the house. And then you go over your friend's house and they got a fucking loaded pantry full of food.
I don't want to cut you off, but you had a specific story. I don't know if you want to tell it about somebody coming over your house and asking about a game system.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was basically a friend came over and I was a kid that had a huge imagination and could create things to keep me occupied. Mm-hmm. And I had like a couple balls of paper that I had like balled them up like shooting baskets in the trash can. Mm-hmm. But instead I had like a little box in my room that I had up on the wall and I would just like shoot paper balls in there sometimes. Mm-hmm. And the kid was like, man, you ain't got no game system in here or nothing. You ain't got nothing to play. You ain't got nothing to do. Mm-hmm. And it just made me feel so bad. Mm-hmm. Like, cause I was already poor, but like he came over and made me feel like shit. Mm-hmm. But I think the problem with that too is when kids are little, they're very cruel. They don't realize it, but they also don't realize they don't have shit themselves. Yeah. Your parents have that. You don't have shit. Most of the people that made fun of me back in the day, I'm doing better than all of them.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and it's not to rub that in, but it's just to say like a lot of this shit doesn't age well either. But in regard to even the looks thing, I'm gonna jump all over the place for a second, but getting made fun of for having big lips and being called ugly and shit like that, and you get older and a woman tells you like, oh, you're really handsome or I love your lips, and you barely believe them because you've been getting called ugly most of your life. Mm-hmm. Like that shit really happened to me, man. Mm-hmm. And you don't realize how much that shit could fuck you up.
Yeah.
Over time. The same thing you get made fun of as a kid, women will be like, I love your lips. You have big, juicy lips. Mm-hmm. And you just like, man, like I got called ugly. I got called fucking Bubba Gump and all kinds of shit by mm-hmm. people. Mm-hmm. And it does something to your self-esteem when you get treated like that.
Yeah.
And it also does something to your self-esteem when, you get told like you ain't got no game to play or, mm-hmm. and then when you don't have a house or you go over your friend's house and they be like, oh, let's go over your house next. Mm-hmm. And it's like they're kids, so they assume that you have everything that they have.
Like you live in a house.
Yeah, and then they come over your house, and not only do you have an apartment, but it's small. Mm-hmm. It's small, and there's nothing entertaining to do. And then they're just sitting around looking what do you call it? Very unenthusiastic. Mm-hmm. And it hurts when you're a kid and you go through that. Now, there's two angles. One is like it's out of your control as a kid. And two, you start to have a little bit of resentment towards your parents because you wish they would do better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You wish they would do better and fight harder for their kids. Mm-hmm. But truth be told is a lot of times your parents get handed down something that they have to overcome. Yeah. And they don't always do it because everyone is not an outlier. I feel like people like me or Keith are outliers where we've been passed down we've been passed down certain, like I would call it like a financial trauma, right? Mm-hmm. Like financial illiteracy almost, where even if your parents pushed a little bit further, they still don't have the literacy of finances and things like that really sets you up to do anything.
Yeah.
So they're just literally a statistic in all this shit. And in ways they're trying their best, but they're not really moving the needle.
Yeah.
And when you go through that shit, man, it hurts. It sucks. Mm-hmm. And there's so many angles. When I was a freshman in high school, there was a time where, my dad, he got hurt. He didn't have a job for a little bit. because he basically had to get like disability or whatever from his job. And we were on pretty tough times. And I didn't have really any school clothes. I was wearing some of the same shit I wore in 8th grade when I was a freshman in high school. And I remember I had a pair of these Nikes that they were like Deion Sanders shoes, and they had that you know that bubble that Air Maxes have on the bottom? Mm-hmm. It had the same bubble on the bottom, but the shoe, it got so worn down that in the back, the bubble was starting to get exposed and shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking around on campus with these shoes, and there was people cracking jokes and saying stuff like, "Oh, look at this nigga, this and that."
Yes,
and it was a very demoralizing, horrible feeling thing. Mm-hmm. Like if I had kids, bro, and I found out that my son was making fun of some kid that was poor, either instead of me slapping the shit out of my own son, I would probably take all of his best shit and give it to the kid he's making fun of, because it's not the kid's fault that that their parents may not have a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and for the most part, I would have decent school clothes when I was a kid. I really didn't walk around fucked up, but at that time,
it was hard times.
It was hard, super hard times. And it's harder than you can comprehend, because you're a kid and you don't deal in reality. You don't deal in bills. You don't deal in, having to pay rent and utilities and all this stuff. So you're just a kid that has no information on how to help the situation. You're just existing. Mm-hmm. And you just don't know why you can't have the things that other kids have.
Yeah. That happened to me in high school. I think when I was a sophomore, maybe. I didn't get no new school clothes. And my mom told me, she was basically like, I'm gonna get your younger siblings some school clothes. Like, I'll get you like on my next paycheck. And just even hearing those things is so like, and I'm older now, so I understand like how rough it is. You know, it's a single mom trying to hold it together. But so I didn't have no real resentment towards her then, but it was just kind of like, it just sucks to be in that situation. Like, it sucks for her to even have to tell her son, like, hey,
yeah,
you ain't gonna get no Christmas presents. Like, I'll get you in a couple. Like, for her to even have to like explain that to me.
Yeah, I had a parallel happen with my dad that I as a freshman, I didn't really have a lot of shit, and I wasn't even gonna ask, even though it was some people roasting me for not really having very nice clothes at that time. He was like, it was the time where he was just like, fuck this, I can't have you going out to school like this. So he chose, instead of paying the rent, he chose to buy me a good amount of clothes and not pay the rent. Mm-hmm. And he chose to buy me clothes over paying the actual rent. Yeah. And that's when like there's a disconnect. A lot of people that are hearing this, they can't even comprehend what we're saying. That's it. Because they've never had to use that as an option, because you've been so financially well off your whole life that you never had to make a choice between bills and buying school clothes. You never had to make a decision between paying bills and having actual food to eat. So you're just kind of like, oh my God, this is just terrible. I didn't know this happened in America. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's called poverty. Okay?
Facts. I know in that time when I was a sophomore, I used to have a lot of clothes. So, obviously you grow a little bit, over the summer or whatever the case may be. Yeah. But by the time you're in high school, most people max out pretty early. I may have grown like 2 inches in high school or something like that. Yeah. So like what I did to kind of cover up the fact that I didn't get new school clothes was like dig deep in my baskets and stuff to see like, oh, I ain't wore this since such and like they ain't never really seen this. Let me iron this up real cool. Yeah. And then, so it was stuff like that. And I remember like somebody commented, I just had like a t-shirt with a pocket on it or something like that. And somebody commented on it like, okay, Keith, got the shirt with the pocket on it. And I don't think he was trying to be like disrespectful, but he was just kind of acknowledging like the pocket. But I was like, dang, man, like this is just old clothes. Like I'm just here. Like I don't want anybody to say anything about my clothes. But
you was in high school with a shirt that said McKinley.
Nah, this new dog. I just got this.
No, that's the one we had. That's what Mrs. Rupert's class. The assembly we went to. Oh man. Yeah. You know, I had some embarrassing moments. I had times where, you know, I had to get groceries on the bus with my dad before, which was very embarrassing. And then you see somebody you went to school with, and you're literally on the public bus with fucking groceries. Very embarrassing.
Yeah, man.
And in those moments, you have those moments of resentment for your parents, and you wish that they would do better. But at the same time, that shit's in the past. I've had a lot of embarrassing moments. The moment you talked about your dad showing up in that car that was all loud and beat up, I've had those moments where the cars, when you drive off the car, like,
oh, dog.
And you're getting picked up from the fucking school, and your parents are driving off in that. And, you know, it's just you get... I don't know. In the moment, it was the worst thing ever. But when you get older, you have clarity.
Yeah,
you realize that in ways your parents were a product of something.
Yeah,
they were a product of what was basically passed down to them.
Yeah,
and they never figured out that situation in order to give their children a better life. But they never wanted to be counterproductive ever. That wasn't their intention to be.
Yeah, they didn't. If it was up to them, they would have a lot of money.
100%. But it didn't work out that way.
I think just so many stuff is coming back to me now. Like I could remember. It's interesting how like life works, where it could be like one phase of your life you like in the trenches, and then another phase you might have the Jordans or the Allen Iversons or whatever. But I remember like that sophomore year, I never really put two and two together, but I could remember like not even my freshman year, I had the Jordan cleats. They were like these mid-top Jordan cleats that I bought. I might've like split it with my mom, cause she probably was going to get me like these was the actual screw-ins too.
Oh,
you know how they had the molds?
Yeah. Yes.
The old molds was trash.
Yeah, they was.
Get the back in the day, like 2000.
Thick-ass, rubbery-ass,
yeah.
heavy-ass fucking molds.
If you get the molds, those
no.
is terrible.
Yes.
I remember they had some Reebok molds that was just trash, and everybody used to have them, but they was the heaviest cleats ever.
Oh, my God.
But
yeah, they were terrible. I had a pair.
Now molds are completely different where
Very light
everybody
now.
wear them. Yeah, but freshman year, I got these Jordan cleats. I was the flyest dude on the field. And then the next year, I had the same cleats, but I had worn them down so much. So one of the cleats on like the inside on like the ball of your foot, it broke. So I couldn't even use them no more. Like I tried to glue it in, and eventually like it was just done for. So I might have
just went to Big Joe. He would have fixed that shit.
I didn't even think about that. He probably would have glued it in or something like that.
No, he would have. The screw was broken inside of the cleat.
No, the screw like it stripped. So it didn't even screw in.
Go in.
Yeah, so it's not like, but then you can't really, because it was the cleats with the little metal tip on the bottom. Yeah.
You could still fix that, though, if you put some pipe tape. If you get some white lining pipe tape and you screw it, it'll lock back in.
Yeah.
But who knows that when you're a fucking
I'm 30 years old now.
Yeah. That's
But yeah, so I had those. I was, freshman year was it was a good year. And then come sophomore year, I was wearing hand-me-down cleats from some of my I remember having one shout out to Steven Schroeder. He had the Reggie Bush Adidas when Reggie Bush when he was on the Saints.
Yes.
He had the like the strap whatever. And I had those. I was playing in those. I remember another guy named Cooper Dammer. He might have gave me like his old Reeboks, and I was wearing those. So it was just like, but I didn't have no real issue with it because I was just playing football or whatever and having a good time. But you just think about like, dang, dog, like I didn't even get no new cleats.
Nah, that's nuts. Yeah. My freshman year, I had a pair of Nike, some Nike molded cleats that were heavy as fuck.
Yeah,
they were all black, not a lot of designs. And I remember back in the day, Antonio Freeman wore them for the Packers. And when I seen him on the commercial, I was like, oh, these is going to be so cold. And then I think I went to Big Five, and it was only back then. They wasn't even that expensive. And I was like, oh, shit, these still look cool.
You could probably get cleats for like $30, huh?
I can't remember back then. Something like that.
Yeah.
And they just were so heavy, man.
Yeah.
They were so fucked up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and just I'm hopping all over the place. One of the most embarrassing moments I had too was actually using food stamps. Mm-hmm. And there was a time when you wanted to get cash back for food stamps, and you had the dollar ones. Mm-hmm. What you would do is back then a bag of chips, a little small bag, was 25 cents, and Little Debbie's was 25 cents. Mm-hmm. So what I would do, is I would go to a store and spend a quarter, and then go across the street and then spend a quarter, and then now you got
$1.50 or whatever.
You got $1.50 now because of the change. And then I would go back to the store, and then I went to the other store again. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing? I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do. You got to start doing it."
You could really run it up with that. And that sometimes in the liquor stores they had a little 10-cent on the counter.
Right.
You get a little 10-cent candies or something like that. You could definitely run it up, get 90 cents back, and just keep do that every single day.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Dude from 7-Eleven was like, stop doing that. I was like, I'm going to do this every day.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, that's the perception of it, right? And this is what I was telling me and my friend were having this conversation. I was like, man, I want to go back to that third grader, right? When there was no concern about whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I might have mentioned it on a podcast before, but it's like my niece is 6 now, and she has no perception of a lot of the insecurities that we have as adults.
Yes.
Like, and even her desire to do anything, right? Sometimes as adults we'll be like, man, I'm not going to do that because what if this happens? Or, I'm not going to drop this podcast because, people may not like it. Or, I'm not going to put the visual up because it just doesn't look exactly how I want it to, right? But as a kid, you don't have those, like, reservations.
Yeah, those fears.
Yeah, if you want something from your mom or whatever, you may ask them every single day until they say yes, or that no doesn't deter you from doing what you want. So
100%.
Like, that's my goal, is to like get to that space where like I do anything that I put my mind to without any reservations of what the consequence is going to be. Legal stuff, and I'm not trying to like be out breaking the law, but just like realistic things, right? And you just like, you don't have that, all these like things weighing you down as far as like these this internal dialogue you have with yourself. And that was like that era, that third grade, right before I hit fourth grade, second grade, where you just having fun, you just doing everything, you just living life. So that's the space where I want to kind of get back to.
Here's the thing, though. When you get old enough where you start realizing other people's home, like economics and, how much money people have and things. When you're a kid, you're innocent, man. Like I remember being a little kid and, you got a Mexican friend and a black friend and an Indian friend and a white friend, and you guys are just going to recess, hanging out. You guys are just cool. But when you get older, you break off into groups of Republicans and Democrats and non-binary and this and then that and then this belief and then that belief and then poor and then rich and then working class and then blue collar. Like, it sucks that our innocence, we grow up and we break off into these groups because our innocence is stripped from us.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fucked up. It's just the way of the world, man. The same person that probably got older and decided that they don't like black people, they had 5 black friends when they were little kids. But as they got older, they just was like, no, like, they broke off into these groups. The same super pro black guy like Dr. Umar that's saying you shouldn't marry outside your race. When he was in the 3rd grade, he had a white girlfriend.
On Ashley.
He had a white girlfriend named Amber, but he got older and is so pro black. And he's like, you shouldn't marry the white flesh. You know what I'm saying? Once we get older, our innocence is ripped from us.
Yeah. It's almost it's a weird thing where you grow we probably have our first, depending on who you are, your first memories may start around 4 years old. And then from 4 to like 9, 10 years old, that's like the peak of your freedom as a human being. And then you start to get into 4th, 5th grade. That's when social classes come in. Yes. That's when like, people start to click up. people start to get into fights because they don't like each other. And then all the way to high school, you're kind of just maturing in that same space. And then probably not until you turn like 28, 29 that you realize like, yo, I got to unpack a lot of this stuff. Like, why don't I like this race of people? Why don't I like, why don't I like Republicans? Why don't I like Democrats? Why don't I get along with this group of people? And then you just kind of like, get back to the, the original. But yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I was thinking like my first crush that I could remember, like, and I was in the 4th grade, and it was this girl named Vanessa Gutierrez. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was. I just was crazy about this girl. Mm-hmm. And I liked her a lot. She didn't like me at all. But
I feel you.
I remember she had a crush on this skinny white boy named Russell. Mm-hmm. And I used to be low key, not envious of Russell, but I used to feel bad because Russell didn't like her at all, but I liked her, and she didn't give me the time of day.
Yeah, like, dang, why don't you, like, I like you, Russell don't. Like, give me.
Right. Skinny white boy named Russell Quigley. Whatever, Russell, wherever you at, man, shout out to you, man. I ain't seen that kid since, like, 4th grade.
Have you ever had a crush on a girl, like, when you were younger, and then you see him when you get older, and you're like, yo, how did I even like this girl?
Yeah, it's happened to me.
Yeah. And not that they grew up to be, like, ugly or whatever. It's just like, as a kid, your standards just be a little bit different than they are when you grow up.
Probably. I remember back in high school, one girl I had a super crush on. I could say this, but she never gave me the time of day. She didn't even act like she did. Mm-hmm. But it was a girl named Raquel Hughes. Mm-hmm. I had a huge crush on Raquel, but she was never like, she's like, "What's up, man?" Like she never.
If a girl tell you what's up, you ain't got no shot.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, what's up, man?"
If she say hi and call you by your name, you may have a inkle of, there might be some faith in there.
Yeah, back in the day, man. But we're all grown, man. I haven't seen her in years. She's cool peoples though, and I think she's married too. Uh-huh. But it's just a trip how your brain works when you're young. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. But yeah, that's our story pretty much, man. And for anybody that grew up poor, man, it came with a challenge.
For sure, yeah.
It came with a challenge. It came with a different reality than most people. Mm-hmm. You had to go through a lot. You had to face a lot, whether it's from the free lunches. I went to school with people, like, I would get free lunch every day, but it's people that literally their parents gave them money every day. Like, every day they had money to eat off campus, and you just like, how do these kids got money? I remember when I was in high school, it was kids that was walking around with like $200 on them at all times.
Crazy.
And it's
credit
like
cards, debit cards.
Credit cards, everything in high school as sophomores and freshmen. And it's like, damn, a lot of parents don't even realize like the position you've put your kids in, whether it's good or bad. Like, if you hear our story, I hope you realize how good your kids got it. It's a lot of kids that they
never feel that.
Yeah, they never felt that. They never felt what it feels like to, I went to school with motherfuckers that was so poor. Like, yeah, I grew up poor, but I always had certain essentials. Like, I always had jackets and shit like that and pants and stuff. But it was some kids that would wear shorts and a T-shirt year round, even in the wintertime, with no jacket, bro.
No backpack.
No backpack. All they had was a binder. Mm-hmm. And it was the same kid. They'd be like, "Hey, man, you got a pencil?
Yeah.
Hey, you got a piece of paper? Can you loan? Let me borrow a piece of paper."
Yeah.
And you'd be like, "Damn, like."
I think like, and I'm glad I'm alive, obviously, but I think that conversation should also make people think twice about having a kid.
Yes. Like, what are you bringing them into?
It's tough, man. Like, I don't have a kid, and part of the reason I don't have a kid is because I'm not married, but also, like, I don't have a kid because I can't afford to have a kid. Uh-huh. So, I just think, like, and I love all my family, but I know that there are some children that are being born into situations that are not.
Some.
A lot of them are probably most of them are being born into situations that they will grow up and have the same conversation when they turn 38, 30 years old or whatever. So
yeah, real conversation. And instead of like telling your kids like, When you gonna give me a grandson or a granddaughter? Or when you gonna give me one? Back off of that. Like, the number one thing that needs to be established is a comfortable financial situation where that child is growing up with two parents who are financially literate, who also have good enough jobs or have made enough career decisions that put their kid in a good position where they don't have to stress. When you remove a lot of financial problems, you remove a lot of the stress. I'm not saying all of it, but you remove a lot of the stress. Mm-hmm. When you don't have to worry about where your next meal's coming from. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a terrible feeling. You know, sleeping on a friend's couch. I remember one time I fell on super hard times. I literally was sleeping on your brother's couch for a little while. It was some tough times, man, back in the day. I remember times of getting evicted from places back when I was a little kid, or the electricity being off and shit like that. This is just a reality that most people will never face, nor will they have to face. And you shouldn't feel bad for not facing that. I'm just saying, please be aware of the reality that a lot of people have to go through. Some people will see me and be like, oh, man, Eddie ain't never been through shit, man. And it's like, bro, you don't know me, homie.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
I think some people just wear it better.
Right.
We've shaped our story in a way where it's not like bogging us down.
Right,
It's probably more so motivation.
100%.
But yeah, some people can look at anybody and just think because you looked a certain way at school or whatever that you wasn't really going through.
And I came from food stamps and Section 8. You can't tell me shit, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You can't tell me shit.
Yeah.
You know, I come from Section 8 food stamps and food giveaways. Do you know how embarrassing it is to be in the welfare office, bro?
Yeah.
God damn, that's embarrassing. As a little kid and you're worried about somebody from your school seeing you in the welfare office, but you so young and dumb you don't realize if a person you know from school sees you in the welfare office with your parents, that's because they on welfare too.
Yeah.
But you don't pick that up. You just like, you embarrassed. You know, parents are getting cash aid and food stamps because they don't, they fell on hard times.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough, rough, man. I think part of the reason why I do want to bless my mom one day is I remember times where I remember seeing my mom. I think I was in freshman in college or something, and I did my mom's this when TurboTax was kind of first popping, and she gave me her W-2s and stuff like that, and I seen how much money she made, and I was like, dang, this, you held it together with this type of salary, you know what I mean? I'm just bro, but yeah, I think above all, we just gotta control our narrative and make sure that when you do bring kids into this world, you are giving them the best possible platform to be successful, because it's a long 18 years until you become an adult.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope that didn't bum you guys out too bad. I don't want you to feel sorry for us,
There's probably a lot of people that's more relating, bro.
Yeah.
I back in the day, this happened to me or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We never want to make an assumption of what people went through. A lot of people grew up on food stamps and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. I grew up around a lot of poor kids too, so we kind of, relate. I remember kids going to school with a pickle, and then to be dipping it in Kool-Aid.
Did you find yourself I think it was just certain people that I would be, was more comfortable around,
even back then,
if they grew up similar to me.
Yes.
I'm sure you and my brother got along because niggas is just going through the same situation.
That's probably, we didn't realize it, but that was one of the reasons why we were that close. Mm-hmm.
But you live in an apartment, I live in an apartment.
Well, we had other friends that came from different backgrounds that were a little more well off. Mm-hmm. Shout out to TJ Brewer, man. But back in the day, TJ Brewer was a sophomore, or I think he was a sophomore at the time, with his own car.
Yeah.
So here we are, and some of our parents didn't even have cars, And here
He got a car.
this fucking 16-year-old kid has a car.
And this is just my recollection of him. Like, he seemed like a person that it didn't really, like, him and Desmond was tight. Like, he would be at the crib all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even matter
Yeah.
what type of living situation.
Yeah.
But that's dope.
But that's how it is when you kind of have a blank canvas.
Yeah.
You just become either more judgmental and more different and more put off into groups as you get older, because you start to subscribe to these different ideologies and belief systems, which kind of like just really takes away from us as people. But either way, we're going to go ahead and close this thing out, man. If you made it to the end of this podcast, man, we genuinely and wholeheartedly appreciate your ear. Thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Things.
We're out of here.
Peace.